The Thursday night throwdown has begun for the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. From Costa Rica to California, Montreal to Minnesota, Costa Rica, where we will be, Super Bowl 52. Minnesota, the question is, will the Minnesota Vikings be playing in Super Bowl 52? It might be the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia 76ers get a big win this evening. The Philadelphia Flyers are losing as we speak. Of course they are. I was on the Boston Celtics. I didn't know that Irving was going to be out earlier in the day. There was no turning back. There was nothing I could do. You give your picks in the afternoon, especially in the NBA. It's pretty tough sometimes. It's up 2-0 on the Philadelphia Flyers. But start off the third period, a very quick goal, like 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds in type of deal. They just dropped the puck. It's rare that we have hockey on ahead of basketball, but right now I happen to have this game on right now. Turn the puck over in their own end behind the net, leads to a goal. How many seconds in was that? 1:33 in. A minute and a half in. Hockey game. Toronto Maple Leafs blew a 1-0 lead late the other night against the St. Louis Blues with under a minute left. Then ended up losing the hockey game. We'll see if a similar situation happens here this evening. Flyer fans were kind of docile, really in Philadelphia this week. I don't think they really care about the Sixers or the Philadelphia Flyers right now. It's all about the Philadelphia Eagles. Settle down, little genie. Everyone just settle down, fuck, all right? A little early. A little early in the night. Fixing alert says he was unblocked. I don't know who blocked you. I didn't block you. The New Zealand Breakers did help last night. It was nice for them to come through, and the game went over the number as well. From Gamblu.com will join us. Lou from Gamblu.com will join us at about 25 MMA with Lou. Big UFC card this Saturday night from Boston. Big card. The main event is good, and the co-main event is the rest of it's not like one of these drop dead. Oh, it's an awesome card. Main event, you can't beat it as far as heavyweight title is concerned. Miocic and Ngannou is the latest athlete potentially to step into the Trump curse. A lot of athletes and a lot of people have called Donald Trump out and fell for them after the fact. It just hasn't. It seems like whenever Popovich pops off about Trump, the Spurs lose the next couple of games, and the Spurs aren't having a great year this year. We can go down the list, but there's been quite a few people to mouth off about Trump and then struggle after the fact. Ngannou's from Cameroon, so obviously he's not going to be a big fan of Donald Trump yet. I'm into politics and I'm into sports, but I really, at a UFC event, it's not really the first thing on my mind, and it shouldn't be the first thing on Ngannou's mind. Philadelphia scores, boom, 2-2. Well, I'm just saying, if you're Ngannou, you're doing a lot of TV shows. You were in Paris on New Year's Eve. You're training in Las Vegas. You're talking about you want to fight Brock Lesnar. Now you're talking about Trump. Just, focus on Stipe Miocic. I tell you what, Miocic really is getting underestimated in this fight. And I do like Ngannou in this fight, but Miocic is, we're talking about a guy, champion. We're talking about a guy who, with the win will set the record for the longest, defenses of the heavyweight title. And we're talking about a guy that's damn good, who really is just sort of being treated as an afterthought, like considering that he is the champion. Like, Ngannou's scary as hell. And we're going to break it down. We're going to debate this with Lou. Me and Lou did a TV hit yesterday, and we talked about this fight, and we disagree on it. Lou's argument is Ngannou hasn't really beaten anybody or hasn't been tested. And my comeback was that if you look at their records and you look at their resumes, they've really fought the same people. So you can't, if you say that Ngannou hasn't beaten anybody, then you're saying the exact same thing about Miocic. And to be honest with you, I think Miocic's wins are slightly overrated. Stipe is really good, but the fact of the matter is, if you look at each guy that he's fought in, he's had a major advantage over. His last fight, Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos is fucking done, man. The guy's been done for fucking 5 years. He was done after Cain Velasquez beat the shit out of him for the second time. He's never been the same. He's heavily concussed. The guy shouldn't even be fighting anymore. He beat Andre Arlovsky. Arlovsky's like 40 years old. Ngannou beat Arlovsky too. He beat Alistair Overeem. Ngannou just decapitated Alistair Overeem. They fought the same people. All right? And Miocic has never fought anyone younger than him. It's fucking nuts. Look at the guys that he's fought. Stipe isn't that popular when you misspell his name and it doesn't pop up. All right, Junior Dos Santos. Totally beaten up and done. Slow, concussed, fucked up, shouldn't be fighting anymore. And it's too bad because he's great. He was a great fighter. But like I said, Cain Velasquez just fucking murdered him. Alistair Overeem. Same Alistair Overeem and Ngannou beat. Fabricio Verdum. Verdum's good. To me, that's his best win. Beating Verdum was impressive. That's when he won the belt. And if you remember, Verdum was stupid and sort of ran right into the punch. That's his most impressive win. I won't take anything away from that. Although Verdum is old and kind of average. But I'm going to give him the win. Andre Arlovsky, whatever. And Mark Hunt. Not to mention he lost to Junior Dos Santos when Junior, wasn't all fucked up. Mark Hunt was a nice win at the time. Mark Hunt, Andre Arlovsky, Fabricio Verdum, Alistair Overeem, Junior Dos Santos, all older than Stipe Miocic. Like, they're all old dudes. Like, which one of these guys is a young, fresh fucking killer? Junior Dos Santos? No. Alistair Overeem? Overeem's good, not great, Verdum's kind of old, and, Verdum is Verdum. Verdum's hit or miss. Verdum's either really good or really bad. Andre Arlovsky's been around for 100 years. Mark Hunt's old and fucking fat. He beat Fabio Maldonado. Maldonado's fighting on the B circuit now. Gabriel Gonzaga's retired. Roy Nelson's fighting in Bellator. He lost to Stefan Struve. I don't see a lot of like shining wins here on Miocic's fucking resume. I'm not looking here and going, oh wow, oh yeah, he beat that guy and he beat that guy and he beat this guy. Yeah, he beat a bunch of fucking heavyweights that are 37 to 42 years old. I'm not taking anything away from Miocic. He's beating who's in front of him. But the fact of the matter is, the UFC heavyweight division has been a wasteland for the last couple of years. It's generally always been a wasteland. Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir and, Cain Velasquez and Dos Santos. That was sort of the heyday of the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division has never really been like, oh, it's fucking awesome. There was a couple of years there where there was some nice competition. Frank Mir and Lesnar was a nice rivalry. They fucking hated each other. Cain Velasquez was fucking awesome for a couple of years. But generally, and then it went right back to all these old guys. Andrei Arlovsky's still around. Like all these, Mark Hunt, you know what I mean? It's just all old guys. There's no one like that's a real fucking killer. So Stipe hasn't fought any of these fucking killer dudes. Hunt has power. So I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't fought anyone with the power that Ngannou has, because Mark Hunt has a lot of fucking power. But the difference is, Mark Hunt isn't exactly the best athlete in the world. Like Mark Hunt is a big fucking dude, man. The guy's like a Samoan wrestler, for fuck's sakes. Except he doesn't wrestle. He's just a big-ass fucking tough fucking dude. And Stipe was able to take him down, Yeah, hey, what up, Brooks? Hey, we've talked about it, Brooks. Remember we said, is there a fucking heavyweight that Jones wouldn't beat? Francis Ngannou. I'm not buying that it's not his time. I'm not buying that he hasn't fought anyone. Now, one thing I will say is he hasn't been tested. Listen, Overeem hit him once. Overeem tagged Ngannou once. And getting hit by Overeem's not a fun time. Alistair Overeem tagged him, and Ngannou kind of fucking, you could tell he felt it, but it wasn't panic time. Ngannou, like, to me, I'm not concerned with Miocic knocking him out. My concern, as far as the fight is concerned for Ngannou, from Ngannou's perspective, is that he gets taken down. A wrestler. He doesn't use it much, but he can do it. He did it against Mark Hunt. If Miocic respects your punch and he's scared of it, he's a smart guy. He's not a stupid fighter. He's got a good fight IQ, Stipe. So, he was a Gold Glove champion and shit, wrestler in the NCAA. So he understands, like, concepts, right? So he's going to, I imagine he's going to try to mix it up. There's no man that is stupid enough to try to stand in front of Ngannou and say, you know what, I'm going to trade shots with this guy. That's not going to end well. So I figure Stipe is going to box him. He's going to use some kicks. He's going to try to take him down. The question is, number one, does Ngannou have any takedown defense? I don't know. He knocks everyone the fuck out in 38 seconds. The fact of the matter is, Curtis Blades took Ngannou down. Ngannou has been taken down. All right, but that was a while ago. So he's worked on that. Ngannou is a big, strong fucking dude, though, right? So Stipe is really going to have to do a quick shoot to get in there. And if you want to take him down, that means you're going to have to get close. And if you want to get close and you try to take him down and he hits you with an uppercut, he's going to knock your head off. I think the over 1.5 is a good bet. We'll talk about it with Lou in a couple of minutes. I think the over 1.5 is a good bet because of the fact that Miocic is a smart guy, and Miocic is not going to fucking stand around in front of this dude. You know what else is savage, Larry? Me kicking you out. Larry Savage? You're gone! honor of the great Ted Teenan. We're still firing bullets, Teddy. We're still firing bullets. So Lou from Gambloo.com will step up and join us. Moments time. We do have some late night basketball on the board tonight. I'm getting frustrated, guys. I can't lie. I'm betting small units this week because my frustration level is growing. I'm sort of just, kind of waiting for the UFC. I'm going to bet the college all-star games this weekend, the college football all-star games. We did a preview. It's up on the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube page. I'm going to bet those games. I'm going to bet the NFL, obviously. I'm going to get into the college. I'm sort of focusing on this weekend. It's tough for me. I'm fucking busy as hell. At college basketball, you need a lot of time to cap it and put the hours in. I've been doing a million shows. My schedule's all kind of whacked out this week. I got to get on track. So I'm sort of gearing up. Like, I've been betting light. Like, all right, whatever, fuck. Once the weekend starts, I'll be here on a Saturday. Normally I do the college football stuff Saturdays or a betcast or whatever, or I've been on the road a lot recently. So this Saturday I'll be here. I'll be able to sit down, focus in on the college basketball, build my bankroll up over the weekend into the NFL. We have the college all-star games and then a UFC Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to a big weekend of betting. But we do have some action tonight. I'm on the UCLA Bruins this evening. UCLA at Corvallis tonight against the Beavers. The Beavers aren't a bad home team, but the Beavers are an average basketball team. UCLA have just too much talent for them, in my opinion. And I think UCLA is starting to play some good is playing some better basketball right now. What's up, Ace Farmer? Team Trump, Drewzilla in the house. Yeah, I said it before, man. Listen, I happen to agree with Francis Ngannou. But it's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, and I'm not even stating that athletes shouldn't give political opinions. I mean, the guy's from Cameroon. What the fuck do you think he's going to say? And he's from France. I mean, he's Cameroon French, right? I mean, he lives in France. But it just seems, I don't know who else. There's been like 4 or 5 people that have mouthed off against Trump and then just fucking like fell flat on their fucking face after, like in the sports world. Like, from a betting standpoint, we should have been taking notes, because I remember a couple of times going, damn, this guy badmouthed Trump and now he's fucking losing. Like, check. You go down the list. There's been a few of them. The curse is real, man. Curse, fuck. It's real. Omar Magana is new to our live vids. What's Omar? What's up, Omar? Oh, boy. Why do I have the feeling it's going to be one of these nights tonight, huh? Oh, boy. As Al Del Vecchio would say, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Steve. Hold on a second. Hold on. Give me a second here. Let's just make sure we're good to go here. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We've got we've got a lot of ammo. We're good to go. We were getting into some real gunshot blast there. Settle down, Omar. Read the shirt. Yeah, this is. You know what? I guess it was fitting. I had an idea. I had a feeling I better wear this shirt tonight. I think it was good foresight on my behalf to actually put this on ahead of time. It actually crossed my mind tonight, too. I'm like, fuck. All right, good. The Lakers aren't playing. We're catching a break. The Lakers have been playing earlier in the night. I can't lie, though. My numbers are a little down. Laker fans are good for numbers, good for business. Anamarak. What's up, Anamarak? All right, so as I was saying, I'm on the UCLA Bruins. I'm on the UCLA Bruins tonight at Oregon State. Am I telling you it's a lock? No. Am I telling you it's a lock? No, I'm not telling you it's a lock. But I think UCLA is the side this evening. There's another game here. What's the game I like? There's another one I don't like, but there's another one at 11 o'clock here. One of those ugly college basketball games. But yeah, I think it's was it Pepperdine. Oh, it just started. My bad. I thought it was starting a little later. And Pepperdine and Pacific. What do we have coming up? We've got we got UCLA and Oregon State. UCLA 13-5, and remember UCLA kind of stumbled early in the season, because of the fucking balls. Like seriously, look at UCLA. They got rid of these fucking clowns, and look, everything's going good for them now. UCLA out of the gate, man. Fucking, they go to China, the big fucking brouhaha, LeVar Ball, I'm pulling my kid, and all that fucking bullshit. Now at least they're a real fucking team again, and they can just go about their business. Interesting contrast here. UCLA, second in the Pac-12, scoring 84 points a game. The Beavers lead the conference, best defensive team, only give up 68 points a game. Listen, it's tough to win on the road in the Pac-12. Oregon State's an awkward place to go and play. The Beavers are 10-7 straight up. They're 7-10 against the spread. Now, Oregon State are actually 9-2 against the spread the last 11 times these two teams have played. But they were getting a ton of points all the time. And UCLA, look, last time they played, UCLA beat them 78-60. They beat them 76-63. In 2016, the Beavers did beat them in Los Angeles, 86-82, but UCLA beat them in Corvallis that year. Yeah, UCLA coming off a loss right now. They were playing good ball. They had won 4 games in a row. They were basically 6-1. They're 6-2 in their last 8 games. They are coming off a loss against Colorado, though, which I actually don't mind because it'll get Alfred yelling at them and shit. Oregon State were on the road. over the weekend. They did the Arizona trip, and they lost both games, although they did only lose by 2 at Arizona State. It's going to be a tough game. UCLA have only played 3 road games this year. They're 4-2 in conference play. The other one is an ugly game. We got 2 more. We got Loyola Marymount at BYU. BYU's playing good basketball. They're winning games. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games, but they're only 5. They've only covered 5 of those games. Loyola Marymount are a bad road team. 2-7 straight up on the road. Loyola Marymount play good teams. They get fucking massacred. They lost by 19 at home against Gonzaga. Santa Clara beat them by 16. BYU, I don't know, BYU shouldn't really be in this conference. I don't know how BYU doesn't own this conference. But I know you got Gonzaga and St. Mary's, but look, BYU beat Santa Clara 84-50. They beat Pepperdine 83-63. They're kicking the shit out of teams, BYU. I'm not in love with this game, but if I had to, I would take BYU. I don't trust Loyola Marymount here. I'm not betting it. A similar situation with a Santa Clara-San Francisco game. This game, I don't really understand the point spread here in this one. Santa Clara are 6-12 straight up. I get it. But you really want to lay 10 points with the San Francisco Dons? And San Francisco, they're right there. It's not like a big road trip or anything. It's actually a rivalry, and they play close games. The only thing is Santa Clara are fucking terrible, but so are San Francisco. It's a terrible game, but if you're a degenerate bettor, I would take Santa Clara. I don't love the card here tonight. We're taking, I got to send Lou the link. We're taking UCLA. That's our play. We're on the Bruins. I'm on the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. Now I'm seeing, I got a message here from Zach Jones. I said we're doing the Super Bowl at the Sheraton. Might not be the Sheraton after all. Says, no, we might be doing it at the beach. Even better. Actually, you know what? I need that betting machine, though. The beach. It sounds like we won't have any technical difficulties at all doing that. We're not going to have any technical difficulties on that front. I got to tell you, though, we're looking forward to it. Super Bowls, I always like to do something special. We've done Las Vegas, often. That's sort of our go-to place for the Super Bowl, but I'm kind of Vegased out. But, yeah, I don't see why there would be any problem doing a show from a beach in the middle of Central America. Shouldn't be any issues at all. No Wi-Fi issues at all. I could just see it now. We'd be sitting there on the beach. I don't know what, they got a bar on the beach there or something. I know what they did. They did the show on the beach last year, actually. I think when they say the beach, there's a beach bar and stuff like that. But either way, here's Zach Jones. What up, Zach? Yeah, I hope there's a lot of bikinis. That's the point of going. Bikinis and football, man. Big bikinis and football. Although I got to ask, the word on the street is, did they close the Del Rey, or is the Del Rey still open? Now, one thing too. What up, Zach? I'm going to. I told you I'm looking at the flights. So I'm trying to find direct stuff, and even Air Canada. So it's like Air Canada's got like a 2-hour stop off, and I didn't understand. I'm used to stopping off in Minneapolis. I'm used to stopping off in Phoenix. You know, I'm used to the regular layovers. And I see we got Lou joining us here. We'll get to Lou in 1 second, but I'm used to like the normal stop-offs. So the layover. So I'm looking at the flight. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Fuck, I don't know what that airport is. I'm like, where's that layover? I click, it's fucking El Salvador. I'm like, damn, I never had a layover in El Salvador before. I'm not really sure I want to. If they legalize this shit, you're right. In Atlantic City, we could do a Super Bowl Atlantic City. Yeah, we should get a bunch of cheerleaders there. We got a bunch of cheerleaders, Zach. All right, let's bring in Lou right now from Gambloo.com.
How we doing, Gabe?
Doing all right. No, I don't know. I could be better. The Philadelphia Flyers win. That'll help me out a little bit here. They were down 2-0. Now it's 2-2 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just 2 minutes remaining. They came into the third period losing 2-2. Record in overtime and shootouts, though. So I don't have my hopes up too high. But I tell you, Lou, the daily grind of fucking NBA and college basketball betting and stuff can be frustrating at times.
You know, that's why some years ago I realized for me, it's best to narrow focus and increase expertise. I don't bet basketball, college or NBA. And so really this time of year, it's UFC until hockey playoffs. And it allows me a chance to kind of rest. And I go to the horse track a little bit and play recreationally. But I find for me some time off from point spreads during the year really helps.
All right, Lou. One thing I see here, you know, I wanted to get to this with you yesterday when we did the hit, but I didn't get to it. We got caught up in the card. I'll tell you one thing. There is excitement as far as this heavyweight fight is concerned. You know, there really hasn't been a lot of real excitement around any UFC fight. GSP and Bisping a bit. But there, you know, you can tell there is a vibe on the street and online and in the MMA world. We're seeing these heavyweights throw down. But quickly on Tony Ferguson and Khabib. So they're going to announce this. I guess they wanted to announce it on Saturday night, but a Russian sports paper broke the story that it's a done deal, that they're going to announce it. So Tony Ferguson's fighting Khabib. I understand there's some numbers out there already with Khabib being a -200 favorite. So we'll have UFC 223 headliner. Break it down, but I just see Conor McGregor's coach and trainer, Kavanaugh. And, you know, John Kavanaugh, smart guy, John Kavanaugh. Like, he's a good analyst. He's funny and stuff. He's good at interviews. Smart guy. But this is like the beginning of the delusional grandeur that kicks in. As John Kavanaugh says, everyone knows that whoever wins that fight isn't the real champion. And he goes, everyone will be upset about this fight because they know it's a fake championship fight. And he goes, whoever wins that fight, when they go to bed at night, they'll think to themselves, I never really beat Conor McGregor. I'm not really the champ. That's how I think it is. He can believe that. He can sell that. But evidently, Kavanaugh and Conor don't understand the concept, Lou, of being a champion includes defending the fucking belt. You don't get to win it once, get handpicked, get a title shot, and then run away, and then you're the champion for the rest of your life. That's not the way it fucking works. Like, Conor McGregor, man, this guy's fucking delusional fucking grandeur really fucking upsets me. And, I don't look at it like this. To me, Tony Ferguson and Khabib, the winner is the champion. Conor McGregor's not around. You got to be around to be the champ. You're not the champ. You don't want to defend the belt. You're not the fucking champ. And Khabib winner is the champ, Lou. What's your take?
Well, I'm forced to agree with absolutely everything you just said. I do believe that Conor's a little bit delusional, and I also believe that for every day that he continues to ride in limos, race fast cars, and drink Cristal champagne, that he's getting softer and softer, and that when he does return, he will absolutely be fade material, especially if he fights either one of these two particular guys competing. as far as that being the belt, Ferguson and Nurmagomedov are fighting for the belt, and Connor and his delusional coach can spin whatever they want, whichever way they want, but they're the only ones that believe that. The fans want to see fights, and they want to see top fighters. And I believe they know that Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson both would give Connor everything he wants and then some.
You know, you're right, and it's funny. I think we're going to see this in which they're going to learn quickly. Does go on, Lou. Out of sight, out of mind. And, you know, Connor's doing a good job of turning off even his most ardent fans, you know? You know, he's got a baby and he's out with the singer chick. Like, he hasn't done anything good, you know, put it that way. He hasn't enamored himself with anybody. It's not like his fighting skills are getting better while he's snorting fucking rails every night and acting like a madman and pissing the fucking Irish fucking mob off. You know, you add it all up, and, you know, we talked about it, Lou, man. Skills erode in a hurry. He's in his athletic prime right now. He should be capitalizing on this and fighting more, you know? I don't even give a shit. Fight Paulie Malignaggi. Make another $28, $30 million. You know, you want to call your shots in the UFC, then do it. Actually sit down, go to Las Vegas, sit down and say, hey, I want to fight. Let's work this out. Let's do this. I want to fight in 3 months. Instead, you know, he's sitting on his gold toilet fucking saying, come and beg me. Come and beg me. He's going to find out, man, Dana ain't begging anybody, fuck. Like, Dana might love him, but Dana, you're the guy with Dana until you're not the guy with Dana. Connor's going to figure this out pretty fucking fast, man.
Yeah, the organization has to move on, and I think as they, you know, if Ngannou happens to win on Saturday night, now
international superstar, Lou, if he wins.
Well, there's a new shiny toy for the UFC, and as soon as the UFC starts looking at the nice bright red shiny toy, the old blue shiny toy might want to come out of the toy box.
Yeah, you know, like, I don't know if you guys saw the quote today. Errol Houani always stirring the pot. But he got Dana White started talking about Dana's dream is to have a Jewish champion. Did you see that?
Is to have what?
He said, Dana, I'm not lying. Dana White today said that his dream, because they asked him, they said, you know, if Ngannou, they basically said Ngannou's a star. Like, they're like, this guy's, he's everywhere. And in Europe, he's a big star and shit. And he said, yeah, you know, I'm not going to lie. Like, yeah, if he wins, it's a big deal. Fuck. You know, like, we've got a star from Cameroon. You know, it's just another angle for the UFC to sell after, you know, doing the Irish thing right now. But then Dana goes from, yeah, it's pretty cool that we'd have an African champion, but he's like, you know, just imagine a Jewish champion. He goes, you guys have no fucking idea how much money we'd make. Everyone's jaw just dropped. They're like, what the fuck, Dana? He's like, if we could get a Jewish champion, I tell you, like, he was saying this out loud. It's like, Dana, do you realize you're not sitting with Fertitta in the back room here, fuck? You know what I mean?
Well, I have a lot of Jewish friends, and we often laugh. I mean, the list of world-class Jewish fighters is a very short list.
Yeah, exactly. You brought up Max Baer. You brought up
Max Baer, you got Mike Rossman in the 70s, and after that, I'm plumb out of names. Mike Rossman was a light heavyweight in the 70s, maybe early 80s, and he was a pretty good fighter.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking.
Anyway, I don't know how he brings that up, but getting back to Connor, you know, he's young, he's the champ, he's got millions, and he ain't listening to nobody. So, you know, we've talked about this. I've seen this over and over and over again, and I hope it doesn't happen to Ngannou, but I think it's in the process of happening to Ngannou. And getting back to that particular fight, I really like Stipe. I think he's in a good spot here, and if Ngannou wins, I'm not going to be shocked. But he's going to have to prove to me that he can get in and fight 10 minutes against somebody and take a couple shots. He's not eating any leather, hasn't been to the ground, and I want to see him test it.
All right, we'll move on. Just for the record, just so I don't leave everyone hanging, the exact quote is Dana White to the Boston Herald Radio today, but like on Media Row type of deal. He said, if we ever end up with a Jewish world champion, oh, my God, the sponsorship alone that this guy would have would be phenomenal. I'm telling you, man. the Jewish thing. People don't realize how big the Jewish thing is until we would end up getting a champion. It would be fucking huge. The Jewish thing. I'm telling you. And it's funny, people online right now are debating whether they should be offended or not. They're like, I don't even know if this is offensive. Like, it's like, no, it's not offensive. He's thinking out loud. He's a promoter. He's trying to, he wants a Jewish champion. But
well, most of the Jewish champions are, drilling in people's teeth, or your doctor or your orthopede. Not a lot of Jewish fighters.
Or drilling you for alimony.
Any of the professions. All right.
Let's change the subject now. We'll move on. We'll move on. All right. As far as this fight is concerned, let me check in with the odds.
I think Ngannou's 185.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It hasn't really hovered too much. You're right. From 175, bookmaker 180. You look around, Pinnacle 172, the Greek 180, Bet Online.
And really, and the bettors haven't lined up to bet Ngannou yet. I mean, the Ngannou bets, the 10s, the 20s, and the 50s, they're all coming fight day.
Did I just miss this? Did the Flyers just win in overtime?
I'm not sure. I'm watching the Kings and the Pens.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. All
I'd
right.
like to see you win that.
Yeah, 3-2, man. The Leafs blow another lead. Oh, man. Holy motherfuck. Cam Stewart, my buddy Cam Stewart's going to have a heart attack. Like, this guy takes these Leafs games hard. I know he keeps betting on them. Oh, no, they're going to respond after that heartbreaking loss. But the Leafs' heartbreaking losses are adding up, man. Like, here's another one. The other night, they blew a 1-0 lead with like a minute, 57 seconds left or something. Then they lost like 10 seconds in overtime. Tonight, they got a 2-0 lead all night. They're playing great hockey. Third period starts, bam, goal. 5 minutes later, bam, goal. Then they lose in overtime. That's a tough one. The other night, Babcock wanted to kill people. Tonight, tonight's soft love. You know what I mean? It's like, tough, good job getting a point, guys. It's one of those deals because the Leafs right now are sort of like me and my bets, man. Whatever they fucking do, they're doing everything right, but it's not working for them in the end. Cold world. But sorry, Lou. I just want to get that out of there. A lot of the viewers were watching that Leaf and Flyer game. So, yeah.
And I'm starting to pick up hockey right now, to be quite honest with you. It's just a little too early to get too excited either way over any team. It's January. To me, I really start to pick this thing up March 1 and watch what happens the last quarter before the playoffs start. But that's just me.
How do we not get excited about the Golden Knights right now, Lou? Like, holy shit, these guys going to Tampa Bay now. Like, it went from they can't keep this up to maybe they'll make the playoffs. And I was saying, you guys kidding me? They're locked to make the playoffs. To now they're legitimate Stanley Cup contenders. Like, I'm not even saying, they're going to win a series and maybe they get bounced. I don't see how anyone can argue. And like you said, Lou, you haven't jumped in yet, and we're not even at the halfway, the All-Star break, etc. But I'm just stating, we're past the halfway mark of the season.
Yeah,
this team isn't going anywhere, man. They're for fucking real. They're dominant at home. They don't get punked on the road. They just went and beat the best team in hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning, 4-1. Not even a tough game. They beat Tampa Bay a couple of weeks ago. We watched the game on the show here, guys, together. Like, Tampa Bay now, they're legitimate Stanley Cup contenders. I know that they're up to 8-1 and shit like that, but I thought it was just kind of crazy and people were jumping on a bandwagon. But I can't sit here and say now, no, Vegas can't win the West. Vegas can win the West. Like, they're for real.
Yeah, I've gone from really being hesitant to give them any due whatsoever to recognizing that they were well put together to now there's no way to discount them based on the effort they produce on the ice. This is an unbelievably hardworking team, and when you got effort like that, it goes a long way. Now, provided they continue to keep that effort up and they don't suffer any injuries, I'm going to be forced to consider them based on the kind of hockey they play. I mean, that's a well put together club that tries hard and plays for that coach.
No, they really do. They got something special going on with the Vegas crowd and the magic in that arena now. I don't know. You can't quantify. You can't bottle that stuff. Sort of like Nashville last year on their home ice. Nashville's a dangerous team too, I think, still. Like, I think Nashville are a force to be reckoned with. All right, Lou. So, Nagano right now, I don't want to make too much of the stuff. It's not the end of the world, but anything associated with Trump blows up, all right? And the latest news is Stormy Daniels fucking spanked him with a Forbes magazine. You can't make this shit up, man. And you know what's amazing? People don't even care. It's like we're so desensitized to it. Like if you found out that Barack Obama fucked fucking Stormy Daniels, paid her off, and got spanked fucking naked with a Forbes magazine, all hell would break loose. But people are like, well, whatever. Hey, it doesn't even matter. It's fucking hilarious. So, but anything with Trump in the media, Lou, blows up. So Nagano's from Cameroon. So, of course, someone's going to fucking ask him just to be a fucking prick and be a distraction here. To me, I don't mind asking Nagano a political question, but I don't think, at this UFC thing is the time to do it. I do it on an interview with them not 2 days before a fight, because now the motherfucker's Twitter's blowing up. It's going to turn into this USA shit, USA Saturday night distraction, Lou. I mean, normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but, it's the president of the United States, and Trump's got a bunch of nut job fucking fans that are now going to attack Nagano for the next fucking 3 days.
I must have missed the story. What did Nagano say?
Well, basically they asked him, what do you think about Trump's shithole comments about African countries? And he basically said, Donald Trump brings shame to America, and that America's a great place, but Trump fucking taints it. He didn't say fuck Trump per se. There was some more quotes. I can get his exact quotes.
Well, I tell you what, I think it's important. The advice I would give any fighter is to stay within their comfort zone and their expertise, and I'll take that advice myself. I don't really play politics. I don't know it. I surely don't study it, read it, or watch it, so I don't have any business commenting on it, so I'm not gonna. I don't really care about Trump and the left and the right and all this vitriol I see on Twitter. In fact, somebody taught me how to go in and take key words in my Twitter and eliminate them. So Democrats, Republicans, all that stuff's been cleaned out of my Twitter. I'm the happiest guy alive since I learned how to do that.
That's awesome.
I don't live in that world.
That's awesome, Lucas. You have a hard time turning the camera on Skype, but somehow you learn how to block keywords. Fuck, I don't know how to do that.
I had to ask somebody how to do it. I'm telling you, but they DM'd me and walked me through the process. Believe me, where there's a will, there's a way. How about some of these other fights? Who else you liking? You think?
I wanted. Let's debate this fight again. We went one round the other night. All right, yeah. People in the chat, I don't know who you guys like. It seems to be a little bit split. I got to be honest. Looking in the chat, and we'll do a little poll right now, guys. Who do you like? Just give the name. Don't give a reason because they'll get confused. Who do you like? Nagano or Stipe or Miocic, etc. All right. So, and we'll sort of do an internal poll. I'm on Nagano, and I don't like the distractions, Lou. I don't like the fucking being in Paris on New Year's Eve, being on all these TV shows. Now I'm seeing he's fucking at the Sixers game. Not tonight, but there was just a picture from the other day with him and fucking Joel Embiid, who's from Cameroon as well. He's really living it up like he's already getting the celebrity champ treatment, isn't he, Lou? Before he's won. And I brought this up with you yesterday. He's talking about Brock Lesnar. My dream is to fight Brock Lesnar. Listen, dude, you're fighting Stipe Miocic. Don't worry about Trump. Don't worry about Brock Lesnar. You got fucking Miocic, who's a fucking badass fireman with a ton of fucking heart, who's a Gold Gloves champion, a wrestler at Cleveland State, and keeps fucking beating people, and people keep underestimating him.
I really like the spot for Miocic. I don't want to, do jumping jacks, because as soon as I, lay out guarantees and get too forceful on any opinion, it always comes back and bites me right in the ass. But I think it's a great spot because I think Ngannou is untested. I do believe he's a future heavyweight star, but he's got to straighten his punches out. He's got to show me he can fight on the floor, and he's got to show me he can take a punch. Now, is Stipe the guy that's going to test him in all those areas? I don't know, but I'm surely willing to wager on it. Listen, Ngannou is still relatively inexperienced too. You got the lights, and what happens if he goes out there and he turns an ankle, or there's a little bit of adversity? He's faced none, and this is the fight game, and I've been in it too long to realize that funny stuff can happen. I just think it's a really good spot. I look at Miocic as being, if I'm his camp, I'm really preaching and coaching the disrespect card, and hoping that the guy can come out with focus. And I think the goal, if I'm in his corner, is we hear the bell to round 2, and then we begin our plan.
One thing I brought up earlier, Lou, was I look at nothing, not to take anything away from Stipe's wins, but there's a lot of old fighters on the record here. We talked about it. Junior Dos Santos, old, beat up, shot, concussed, never been the same.
But better than anything that Ngannou's faced to this point.
They fought the same guys, though, for the most part, with the exception of Mark Hunt.
And Hunt's dangerous even now, let alone 4 years ago when Stipe completely dominated him on the ground and on the feet.
He just beat Overeem. He beat Arlovsky, 2 guys that Miocic's beaten in his last 3 fights as well, 4 fights.
But again, Arlovsky fought Miocic 2.5 years ago, and Arlovsky fought Ngannou, and Arlovsky, when he fought Miocic, was at the end of his rope, and when he fought Ngannou, I could have beat him. I mean, you sneeze on him and he's done. So the level of competition for each man is what it is. I think when it comes down to the bottom line is all Ngannou has is power. And if something happens to that power, either time or strain or cardio, I don't know what he has to fall back on. And Stipe has many ways to win the fight. Many more ways to win the fight, in my opinion.
My concern, no, we don't need to fight anyone, grab a max. It's all good. My concern for Ngannou is, if this is from a Ngannou, my concerns. And I have 2 concerns. The one concern is will he get taken down? Will Miocic be able to take him down? And number 2, the cardio aspect of this. And not just the cardio, because, Ngannou's going to be in shape, but the fight waters. Ngannou's never been in deep waters before. Miocic has been in brawls before. Miocic has been in trade-offs and bang, bang, and eating shots and gone back and forth before. Ngannou really hasn't dealt with much adversity. He got taken down by Curtis Blades. Overeem rocked him once. But for the most part, he's never been out of the second round before. Or, the fight with Blades went to the end of the second round, and Blades' corner stopped it because he was fucking dying. And Ngannou was pummeling him to death. So, I get it. That's the concern. And I do believe, and you and I did agree, we disagree on the winner because you're with Miocic, I'm with Ngannou, but we did agree that the over 1.5 is worth a look in this fight. And you're betting will the second round start?
Yeah, well, I've already bet. Well, does the bell to round 2 start -110? To me, that's like manna from heaven. And really, I'm looking for Stipe to look like Mighty Mouse for the first 5 minutes, and by that I mean stick and move, keep your distance. And I mean, I don't care if he looks like this running in circles. We got to get the bell to round 2 to ring, and I think that's got to be their plan. There's got to be a way to test this guy. Surely we know what won't work. Low IQ standing there and engaging this man in the first round looks to me to be a mistake. So I think that anybody with any kind of IQ wants to avoid that plan.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Oh, I love the heavyweights. It's great.
Yeah, I love the heavyweights. I know some people don't. I'll admit it. I know it's like fight hipsters. And I know, listen, Omar, I'm not saying it. I've always said that. I said it last night. I know you said you're new to the show, but I said it last night. Cleveland State isn't exactly Oklahoma State as far as wrestling is concerned. He's a Cleveland State Viking, all right? You know, he was a Gold Glove boxing champion. Jack of all trades. You know, he's very well-rounded on my Osik. But for me, I'm not a huge fan of I'll admit it. You know, Mighty Mouse is fun to watch. He's so good, but I get fucking dizzy watching Dodson and Mighty Mouse running around and shit like that. I'm a fan of the UFC heavyweight. I like seeing big dudes throw down. You know, that's the whole thing. You know, you want to see people that are freaks. Brock Lesnar. I like seeing the freaks of nature, these massive dudes like Ngannou and Miocic going in there and willing to lay it on the line. So we can go on and on about this fight. We agree that Miocic probably tries to buy some time. Can he buy the time? You can get plus money on the over. I think Ngannou wins the fight. Daniel Cormier against Ozdemir. Not as much to analyze in this fight, Lou. I mean, Ozdemir came out of nowhere. We're talking about a guy that got taken down and lost in fucking Bellator. Shows up at the UFC as just another scrub, fill-in guy that looks like Cicero of the WWE. Fights against OSP. Is okay, not great. Judges screw over OSP for some reason. Ozdemir gets the win. I thought OSP won the fight. I'm still mad about it. I had a lot of money on that fight. And then suddenly Ozdemir knocks out Misha Serkinov, knocks out Jimmy Manuwa. And due to a process of elimination, due to injuries and the fact that there's just no one really around, he gets a title shot against Daniel Cormier. You're an underdog better. Do you give him any chance?
Well, it's a fight, and it's a fight at 205 pounds. So I give him the puncher's chance, and that's what he's banking on as well. He's predicting a knockout in the first round, which tells me his mindset going in that I think he knows from his history and how much time he's been in the game. He hasn't had enough time to develop the kind of skills that's going to keep him off the floor with Dan Cormier. So he's going to have to go out there when he's fresh, use his length, and try and touch Dan early coming in. And Cormier, except for a kick from John Jones, is shown to be very durable. He's fought in the heavyweight division before coming down to light heavy. And I just think that by, the second or third round, Cormier's on top of this guy, and it's real ugly for him.
One fight, I agree. I agree with you. And I brought it up last night. I don't know, it's not great value as far as the payback is concerned. But a Daniel Cormier New England Patriot moneyline parlays, like in the minus 160 range. If you're, football and fighting, Lou. So it's one of the later fights on Saturday night, and you set yourself up going into the football on Sunday if you like the Patriots, but you don't want to lay the points. Daniel Cormier to win the fight. New England Patriots on the money line. Depends on your book, but it's anywhere from minus 158 to 166 type of deal in that range. I checked it out at a couple of places. A fight that you and I didn't talk about on the TV show was Barrasso and Gian Vellante. Gian Vellante, of course, trained by Chris Weidman, same gym. Weidman's his head coach, trainer, so to speak. Me and Joey Odessa have a history with Vellante going back to his early fights and lost a shitload of fucking money once. Joey lost like $18,000 on a Vellante fight.
Ooh.
I was living in Vegas at the time. I lost like $2,000 or $3,000 on it, and like real money, cash too. They wouldn't even accept my wagers. They didn't want to take that much on Vellante because it was like a prelim fight. Chino's getting Vellante money in, and Gian Vellante is a wrestler who was a good wrestler at Hofstra who refuses to fucking wrestle. like in the early days, like me and Joey bought in, he's going to wrestle, and he's a great wrestler, and fucking Weidman, and no. You want to talk about bad fight IQ? Vellante has no IQ, but he's a tough motherfucking kid. And even though he's stubborn, he doesn't want to wrestle. striker. He does have power. What do you make of this fight, Vellante versus Barrasso?
Yeah, well, he's an ex-middle linebacker in football, so right there that tells you that, you know, as soon as he gets hit, he's throwing caution to the wind, and he's coming in forehead first, and that's how he fights. I think they've handpicked a fighter for him in this spot. You know, Vellante is a New Yorker, so they bring in Barrasso up, and we talked about the 5-year difference in age earlier, and I'll repeat that stat because I broke it down further with my friend Megalox Insider on Twitter, and that is that when there's a 5-year difference in age between fighters, the younger fighter in the history of the organization of the UFC, excuse me, the younger fighter wins 62% of the time. But I needed that. I wanted it broken down further. What's that percentage to the lighter weights under 170? And what's that percentage over 170? My thought process thinking that the younger guys, the bigger they are, would the percentage would even grow. And that's in fact exactly what's happened. So when there's a 5-year difference in age for fighters that are fighting welterweight 170 or higher, the younger man wins 65% of the time. And when it's under the 170-pound limit, it's 58% of the time. So there's a tremendous advantage in handicapping if we can find a fight where we have a much younger fighter and they're heavier in weight. This happens to be Vellante and Barroso got nothing. He's really got not a very good chin. He's going to have to get this fight to the floor to sport advantage, and Vellante is going to have dynamic reach advantage. I shouldn't say he's going to have 1 inch of reach advantage arms, 2 in the legs, and he's 6'3" to Barroso's 6'1.5". Vellante should be he's a worthy favorite in this spot, and maybe an inside the distance play would be the angle for me, simply because I'm not laying 170 on a guy that you and Joey Odessa have lost a couple dollars on.
Yeah, I know. And, but the one thing with Vellante is, and his record's not great, but we will give him credit. He's been in there with a lot of tough dudes. Like even from his early days in his career at Strikeforce against Lorenz Larkin and Trevor Smith, OSP, Cody Donovan, Fabio Maldonado, Sean O'Connell, Corey Anderson, Tom Lawler, Anthony Peroche, Latifi. He's not fighting stiffs. Like they don't give him free passes. That's the one thing. He's fought in a lot of guys generally that are always sort of better than him for the most part. Like he's sort of fought nut most of his career. You know what I mean?
No, the guy's tough, and I think this is a decent spot for him. I'm looking that he opened 215. Now he's about 165, 175 somewhere. I'm going to watch it. If the thing continues to compress, and based on what they look like in weigh-ins, maybe.
All right. Somebody asked in the chat about Almeida and Font. You and I talked about this fight and don't really understand the number here as to why Almeida is such a short favorite only.
Font is a Massachusetts guy, so maybe there's some of that. And the other thing is that I'm used to, when I watch Font fights, he's usually the taller, longer guy. And in this particular fight, he's not going to be. So maybe they're not doing their due homework. But actually, Font's only got an inch advantage over Almeida. Almeida's only lost to Garbrandt and Rivera by split decision. Whoever bet Font down, and they bet him down immediately, I think is doing me a favor, because I can't bet. I'm not interested in Almeida at a fair price, which is 165 or 175, but at minus 120 or minus 125, that's value that we're going to have to gobble up.
You can follow Lou on Twitter over at Gamblu on Twitter. Lou, Brandon Davis was a fighter that you mentioned to me earlier in the week.
Yeah, and I'm honing in on him. I really like the advantage he's going to have in stand-up. Bosniak has not impressed me. Yeah, he's got a ton of heart. He's tough as John Wayne's saddle. And he's relatively well-rounded. I think he's going to have to take this fight to the floor for advantage, but that's all the nice things I can say about him. This Brandon Davis, was set up in the Dana White Contender Series against some whirlwind ace fighter named Arnett, and Davis went out there and really looked good against the guy. I do happen to watch all those things because I got nothing to do but watch fights every night. And I think this is a good spot for this Brandon Davis, 5'10" against 5'7", so he's going to be a much taller, bigger man, going to have some reach here, and he's a lethal striker. I'm going to give him good long, hard look. He opens 185, and now he's a pick'em.
I got to tell you, John Wayne Saddle, like we've never had a John Wayne reference on this show before.
Well, you know what? I know everybody's going to have to ask their dad and their mom who John Wayne was.
Yeah, anyone in the chat right now that doesn't know who John Wayne is must leave.
Like, you can't say that. Everybody will go away.
No, I know you're right. If I ask the kids I work with in fantasy sports, they'll be like, "Who? What?" A couple of guys in the chat caught on to that one. Tougher than John Wayne Saddle.
Yeah, tougher than leather. I'll use leather from now on.
I like it. I like it. You know what freaked me out? Once I moved to when I lived in Los Angeles in the 80s and early 90s. I went to a football game in Anaheim, and I got fucking lost after. I'd never been there before, and I got lost. And I had no idea that the airport. I thought I was in like the Twilight Zone. Like I look up and I'm like, John Wayne International Airport.
I've flown into John Wayne before.
Well, like, where the fuck am I? Like, is this real? I was like I said, it was like 2 a.m. I was stuck. I was alone. I see this sign, John Wayne Airport. I'm like, John Wayne Airport? What the fuck is this?
You were lost, baby.
Yeah, John Wayne International Air. And I was like, International Airport? Fuck, you're in Orange County.
You were lost.
Airport. I think they changed the name, actually. Fuck. I don't think it's John Wayne International anymore.
That's it. That's all anybody refers to it as. I don't know if they did change the name. They still call it John Wayne.
John Wayne. And landing a good name for an airport. Good name. I'm surprised Reagan doesn't have an airport. Is there a Reagan Airport?
I don't know.
Not off the top of my head, no. All right. I'm amazed. Yeah, Reagan. Maybe not, because Reagan actually fired all the air traffic controllers. Maybe that's why he does it. But anyways, Dustin Ortiz. I think we got a live dog here. Not a huge price, Lou, but Dustin Ortiz is plus 110.
Yeah, and he's good at a plus price. And Pantoja, I think, is going to, want to keep this standing and strike. And I honestly think Ortiz can survive long enough with him in the striking game to get this to the floor and get it to be grappling. And if it does go to the floor, I do like Ortiz here, and I find that many times the fights do go to the floor. So, there's been a little bit of value added on Ortiz, but at plus 100 to plus 130 or 40, I think that's a more than fair price on a guy with plenty of experience. And, he's not as fast and quick as Eric Shelton, but Eric Shelton gave Pantoja plenty of problems in the tough house. And I think Ortiz is clearly a step over Shelton. So I think the key is where this fight takes place for these two guys.
All right. Lou bets on fighting, and he also handicaps football as well and pucks. But as he stated earlier, he jumps into the pucks as the season progresses. But the football season has already progressed. Down to the Final Four right now, Lou. Tom Brady jammed his hand yesterday. There's a lot of talk about that, except I'm not putting too much stock in that, really, as far as the outcome of that football game.
I'm convinced it's just another layer of the onion of gamesmanship from the Patriots. Tom Brady doesn't need to practice. They got him walking around in red gloves, in my opinion. And sometimes I can read too much into things. But the Jaguars and the Patriots practiced at the beginning of the preseason together, and they know a little bit about each other. And I think Bill Belichick knows enough about enough about the Jaguars that he's extremely concerned about this game. Now, Belichick's going to be concerned about any AFC championship games. Don't get me wrong, but this is the kind of team that can really expose New England. And I think this is the kind of team that is going to absolutely expose New England. I think that because of my old school nature, I rely on running game and defense. That's exactly what Jacksonville brings. I'm a believer that the playoffs expose your weakness, and the Patriots have lost a lot of players on defense that they've been able to get by and scheme with. I love the fact that the national press is proclaiming that this is the Patriots' easiest route ever to get to the Super Bowl, and have already almost put the crown on their heads and wondering if they're going to face either Minnesota or Philadelphia. I think the coaching spot for the Jags is great. I love the fact that they're young and they don't know any better. And I really like a team in a position to kick the door in. And everything that I see from Jacksonville tells me that they're ready to go in there and kick the door in. Now, does Brady match up with Bortles? Is that a fair matchup? No, it's not. It's a huge mismatch. That's the only matchup outside of coaching that I give New England. Everything else I give hunger, youth, vigor, quickness, toughness, might. I all give to Jacksonville. And we've played Jacksonville on the money line. Forget the 7-8 points. Take them on the money line.
Lou's calling a massive upset, one for the ages. The Jacksonville Jaguars. And you know what? It wouldn't actually be one for the ages as far as the money line is concerned. It's a massive upset, but the odds makers aren't willing to make you rich doing it. And we've got some massive line movement right now, guys. The New England Patriots have now settled in as 7-point favorites in this football game. And once again, I'm wrong because I said I thought the number would go up. And I guess people are just fading me that much. Unbelievable. It's an even 7 points right now. Jacksonville Jaguars plus 265 on the money line. Clearly, somebody agrees with you, Lou, because the point spread has moved 2 days in the last 24 hours.
I think that's
2 days in the last 24. 2 points in the last 24 hours.
I think that's part of the Brady news. Again, right now, that volatility, that's unusual for an NFC championship game for 2 points of movement. So there's some volatility there right now. I'll tell you another thing. They're sure making it easy at 7 to tease New England down to 1. And that scares me. And here's another thing that scares me. Now that I've talked myself from one side, the other thing that scares me is all that money coming in on the dog. Usually a lot of money coming in on the dog isn't a good thing. So what I'm thinking is, and what I hope is, what I'm projecting into this thing is that this is some sharp money coming in and hitting Jacksonville, because as I'm tracking right now on Sports Insights, I got 39% of the spread tickets are on Jacksonville, 45% of the money. So there's a little bit higher per wager coming in on Jacksonville right now. But we all know that all the bets that come on this game, 90% of the bets that come on this game are coming on Sunday. So we still got some time to see what happens here. And does this thing go back to 8.5 or 9 points once they see Brady's going to play? I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
I think, yeah, listen, this is big time stuff now, man. We're down to the last 3 games, with these 2 games in the Super Bowl. People are betting. There's money, from offshore to Vegas. So there's going to be line movement in these games. It's a market. It's an active marketplace right now. The Jacksonville money is poured in. Got to believe, Lou, there's going to be a huge buyback right now. I didn't even know. I didn't hit refresh in a couple hours here. I'm not going to lie. I did not look at the NFL. Normally, guys, I really do look like every hour or so, like really. I didn't today. I was busy. I was doing shows. I was out. I came back. I fucking, whatever. So I just looked at the number for the first time and seen these 7s. I mean, is it going to go to 6.5? I fucking severely doubt it.
No, really? That's when it'll stop. They're not going to give us that opportunity.
They just that's why I think for teaser players into the pick'em range. I mean, that's unbelievable to me, really.
It is, and again, I would hasten slowly chasing that chalk. I really would. Now, let me just give you another stat. In the NFL Conference Championship Series, 28 of 32 games the outright winner covers, meaning either the chalk rolls or the underdog wins the game outright. And that's why we're playing the money game, because these two games, forget about the point spread. It's not going to come into play. Who's going to win the game? Pick the winner. It's called Pick the Winner theory.
Like the Super Bowl. I swear, out of 51 Super Bowls, I think there's only been 6 in which the team covered but didn't win the game.
That's right. That doesn't come into it doesn't really, even in the NFL regular season, the point spread only comes into consideration 17% of the time. So
wow, 17%, huh?
In the regular season. And then when you go to the wild card round, it's 11%. So those are, and let me tell you, I got those percentages from the VSiN show, the numbers game, Gil Alexander. And I want to quote that source because that's not my research. That's somebody else's.
No, Gil Alexander was at the IFBC, good numbers guy, smart guy.
Very smart.
Mark Lawrence, listen, the last 2 years, why the fuck do you think in the Super Contest the consensus has sucked for the last 2 years, guys? All right? You think that everyone sucks in the Super Contest? Do you think people like putting $1,500 in and paying $300 for a fucking proxy to suck? Last 2 years, dude, the fucking consensus is like 0-5 every week because people in the Super Contest, the so-called sharps, they take the underdogs all the time. Well, you know, they bet the number. Oh, I got to take the plus 14, double-digit underdogs in the NFL, etc. And the fact is, you know, I don't know, Jorge Gonzalez, he's not so much around anymore. Longtime Vegas hustler. He's his own worst enemy, but he's a smart gambler at times. And he told me years ago, when I lived in Vegas, it's like 2012. I used to have him on my show a couple of times a week, and we hosted a radio show together on Fox. So he was the one that really brought it out. He goes, people are so obsessed with point spreads. And he goes, I never play point spreads. He goes, I only play money lines. He goes, if I like the team, I don't give a shit. I play the money line. If I like the dog, I play the money line. He goes, I only play the money lines. I don't play the point spreads. And, I was like, yeah, I get it. And I liked it at the time. I said, I like your theory. I go where you're going. And I told him, I said, point spreads are overrated. And I brought up the Super Bowl reference. I said, people like a game. How many times I've even done it? You say, oh, I like these guys at -4, man, but I don't know about -6. Like, nah, I'm off the game now. I speak to cappers every day. It drives me crazy, fuck. Well, I like the game at 3, or I like the game at 5, but not at 5.5. It's like, really, fuck? So you like it, but now you don't because there's a 0.9% fucking chance and it lands on that 5.5. The fact is, point spreads just don't fucking matter. They don't matter. Fuck.
It did last week.
I'm not saying every game they don't matter, but they don't fucking matter. In the NFL, we're not talking about every league. In the NFL, point spreads don't matter.
They come into play 17% of the time. So pick the winner. And what your guy was saying, I think, is razor sharp. What he was saying to you is that I'm only betting an NFL team that I handicap that I think can win the game. And I think that's genius handicapping. The fact that he plays it on the money line is a little brassier than me because I try and pick underdogs when I'm working NFL with that same theorem. They got to be able to win the game. I'm done with the Cleveland Browns.
And I love Travis Taylor. Great guy. What up, Travis? Great seeing you, bro, in Vancouver. Class act. But it's funny seeing Travis Taylor ignoring everything we're saying right now in the sense that we're saying the points don't matter, and here he is right here. Taking the gun to head, I'm taking the points with the Jags. It's funny because I do believe, and I heard somebody say this earlier in the week, and I agree with the assessment. The Jags are either winning this game outright or they're getting fucking killed, all right? I don't think the points matter, actually. They're either going to get tattooed 44-14 or they're going to win the game. Like, I doubt that they lose fucking 28-27 in some classic and they trade points and they go back like the Pittsburgh game. They either shut it down, beat the shit out of Brady, the place turns silent, they break Gronk's leg in the first quarter and they win, or they're getting smoked, fuck. I don't think the point spread matters, actually, here.
Well, based on that stat that I just shared, I agree with that. But that said, it's an awful lot of points in an AFC or NFC championship game. And again, the way the Jacksonville is built with defense and run, I just got to take a look. The money, it's a money line play for me, and I could go down swinging, but I got plus 320.
Okay, so before we let you go, we'll lead you into the next game, in which I think you like the underdog as well. So nothing wrong with that, taking both money line underdogs.
Yeah, in the Philadelphia game, I'm starting to get some Minnesota vibe.
You're getting cold feet. Skull.
Well, I can't get too cold a feet because we've already released Philadelphia plus the 3.5. So we're sitting Philadelphia 3.5, and we got the best of that number. But there's all kinds of -3 plus 100. So there's some dog money coming in on this game as well. Now let's also understand this year in the NFL playoffs, underdogs are 6-1-1. So finally the house is getting a little bit back, and it's really 7-1 depending on what your line was on the Vikings last week. So I do lean the dogs, and if I do get cold feet, and if something were to happen, the way this number is going, money line on Minnesota -140, is it going to middle? I don't know. It probably won't because the point spread won't come into it, but that's the way I can bail out if I have to. My heart and my contention right now is all about Jacksonville, and then we'll worry about Philly after the Jacksonville game if we can, squeeze out a win there.
Well, look, I was dead wrong. I was already wrong about the Patriots number. When it was 8.5, 9, I said I thought it would go up. Clearly, I was wrong. It's down to 7 right now. But the feeling I get, Lou, is the steam's coming in on Philly. We saw it against Atlanta last week, in which by kickoff it was down to 1 or whatever it was. I mean, the number really came down. I think there's going to be a lot of Philadelphia money to come in, and I could be wrong, guys, but it wouldn't shock me. I think there's going to be some 2.5s that are going to start popping up. I think a lot of people are going to take Philadelphia here when they start to crunch the numbers and realize the trends that are in place. Number 1 seeds are 28-12, guys, in the last 40 games. All right, conference championship games, including 7-0 straight up. Number 1 seeds are in the last 7. We can go down the list of, the Minnesota Vikings, 2-11 all time on the road in the playoffs. But, I think Minnesota's going to win, actually, by 3 or 4 or 6, in between 3 and 6. I think it's a field goal fest, Lou. I really do. 1 or 2 turnovers is going to be the difference, but I think it's a field goal fest. I think Minnesota is going to get the better of them, though.
I see that playing out in very close, tight fashion. You got really dynamically good matchups in the trenches where the offensive line is really kind of a strength. Sans left tackle for the Eagles. And you got the Minnesota defensive line. Consequently, you got the defensive line for Philadelphia against a offensive line for the Vikes that had a hard time against New Orleans in the second half last week. So I see the quarterbacks each struggling. I see this being a really stubborn, traditional. I mean, the only thing that would I could paint a better picture about how tight and close this game's going to be is if it was snowing and blowing wind outside, and it's not going to be that. It's going to be 40 degrees and without wind. But I do see a really tight affair here. And the home team dog, I think, has an awful easy coaching job. Peterson's coaching job is easy because all he has to say is, "Listen, guys, we're 13-3, and we can't, and we're an underdog at our own house again."
And Louis, 13-3. He's 14-3 actually on his home field. No, I'm saying, excuse me, 14-3 this year actually with the playoff win. But I'm saying same number. I don't mean to confuse you or confuse people. But 14-3, 2 years coaching, 8 games last year at home, 8 games at home this year, plus the playoff game. He's only lost 3 times at the Link, Peterson. Pretty impressive. It's not really discussed when we talk about these dominant home fields. hey, the fact of the matter is the Philadelphia Eagles have won 14 of their last 17 home games.
Right, and I think that I was on a radio program here in Phoenix this morning with a ex-NFL player, Dale Hellestray, for the Cowboys, who won a ring, and I was really picking his brain, and what he seemed to think was that, yes, the players are aware if they're an underdog or not, and what does that equate to? Preparation. And I think that if, in fact, either of these teams, Jacksonville or Philly, are feeling disrespected, then usually that's going to manifest itself in focused, finite, tough, intense practices that always carry, because you play like you practice, and that carries over into the game. And we won't know until they play if that's going to be the case, but I'm betting that that is the case in both those underdogs conditions.
You want evenly matched football teams, guys? Minnesota Vikings, 14-3 straight up this year. Philadelphia Eagles, 14-3 straight up this year. How'd they do against the spread? Minnesota Vikings, 11-6 against the spread. Philadelphia Eagles, 11-6 against the spread. All right, let's take a look at the totals. Minnesota Vikings, 8 overs, 9 unders. Philadelphia Eagles, 8 overs, 9 unders. Can you believe it? They're fucking mirror images. They're the same motherfucking team. Points per game. Minnesota Vikings, 24.2. Points per game. Philadelphia Eagles, 27.8. Points allowed. Minnesota Vikings, 16.2. Points allowed. Philadelphia Eagles, 17.9. It's just razor sharp when you look at the numbers here, Lou, and the stats. It's amazing how they're mirror images of each other.
I use Football Outsiders, and he has a really great DVOA system that rates teams. And just to back up your point, he takes the Minnesota offense, and their rank is 5, the 5th best. And he matches them against the Philly D. What's the Phillies D? 5. You get the 5-0 against the 5D. What's the Philly offense? 8. And it's 8, but it's waning because lately Foles has been in. So it's 8 going to 10. What's the Minnesota defense 2? Special teams, Minnesota 18, Philly 15. These teams, just like you say, are mirror images of each other. This game is going to be won by turnovers, and that's a hard thing to handicap.
I know. Well, we'll get you out of here, Lou, but one thing we will say, Jay Ajayi has turnover issues. He did at Boise State, he did with the Miami Dolphins, and he's had so far with the Philadelphia Eagles, including last week. A Jay Ajayi turnover, I think, is going to be the difference maker.
Jay Ajayi turnover in that game, and here's the key stat in the New England and Jacksonville game. When Tom Brady sacked 4 or more times, New England wins 38% of the time. So Jacksonville must put Brady on his butt, and they must do it more than 2 or 3 or 4 times in order to have any kind of success against Brady. So Jacksonville one dog, Philadelphia the other dog. That's where we're going, and doesn't mean we're right, but we're gonna fight, and we're gonna football this weekend.
Fighting and football, baby. Plus 757 money line parlay. Basically, that's so, guys. If you think the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, it's plus 757. That's the parlay money line right now. You play that and you win, you'll be able to go to the Super Bowl because they'll be selling tickets for fucking the cheapest of all time if it's the Eagles and the Jags in the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
Lou from gamblu.com. Great stuff as always, Lou. Really appreciate you taking the time to be. I like the loose format. You and I have done TV for years and radio, but I like having you on the loose format here. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great. I love the exposure. Thanks a lot, and good luck to everybody listening. Thank you.
Everybody, make sure to give Lou a follow here so he knows you appreciate the time. You can follow him on Twitter at Gamblu. That's at Gamblu on Twitter. And check out his website as well. He's got free write-ups and picks over at gamblu.com. But follow him on Twitter. Give him a shout-out. Thanks, Lou.
Thanks, Gabriel. Have a good night.
There's Lou from gamblu.com. Great stuff with Lou. It's funny when we're on TV, we see people are like, man, these guys look like they're fucking brothers or something, like two fucking bald dudes. I see you read the comments, and like me and Lou do an MMA video every week. It's funny, like you read the comment. People are like, man, I'm fucking confused between these two. I don't know which one's talking now. Yeah, Andre, Eric Cohen. Excellent call, Lou. Excellent hit. What up, Andre? Excellent. Eric Cohen's the best. Excellent call. Excellent call. Excellent call, Gabe. Yeah, Lou's a nice guy, you can tell. I like Lou. He's like, no. He goes, I block Republicans, Democrats, the word Trump. Lou's totally doesn't want to see it. That's amazing. Hey, he's like, no, I blocked anything political on Twitter, like all the keywords, Republican, Democrat, Trump. Like he doesn't see anything. Omar, we'll talk Bellator tomorrow. We'll talk Bellator tomorrow. Yeah, Cohen is on Hall of Fame alert. You know, Cohen, we're gonna have to get him in. It's funny, Cohen's been tweeting me a lot recently and stuff, and I think it's because of the Hall of Fame. He's trying to, Cohen was very excited over the summer. He's like, I heard Hall of Fame. Is this true? I said, well, Cohen, you're up for consideration. We'll see. We haven't really figured it out yet. The induction was kind of impromptu. You know, Cohen's inactivity. He's been out of the league a while, you know? But come on this show once and he couldn't do it. But it was during Hanukkah. I'll cut him some slack. I asked him like to come on like December 23rd or something. I think. And he was so apologetic. Oh, any other time I really can, I would. But fuck, you know, I'm going to my wife's parents. And, it's a Jewish holiday. I was like, yeah, all right, Cohen. I was sort of like, I had attitude back. I was like, you know, all right, Cohen, if you can't do the show, you can't do the show, buddy. You know, and I never asked him back since. So I'm like that. I'm very vindictive. I even tell the producer at the Fantasy Sports Network, I tell him, I go up to him like, listen, pressure. I said, how's it going with the guest? And he's like, all right. And he goes, well, I couldn't get this guy. This guy couldn't do it. Give me a list at the end of the week of who couldn't do it. I said, just keep who couldn't do it, all right? And he's like, kind of looked at me weird. I said, if they twice, I said, never invite him again. And he goes, are you serious? I said, I'm dead serious. I said, I used to have a three strike policy. I said, now it's 2 strikes. 2 strikes. You can't do the show twice. You're gone. That's the way I operate. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now, it doesn't apply to everybody. It doesn't apply to everybody. You know, like if you're a regular, like if Steve Merrill's got an issue, if there's regulars, you know, there's different. But if you're just one of the casual guests that are sort of in the stratosphere of our world, yeah, we don't ask 3 times. We ask twice. And it's funny because we get a lot of people that sort of send, hey, what's up? I haven't been on the show in a while. I said no twice fucking last year. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're looking for enthusiasm here. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it. I don't know, like that's the way we operate. You guys know. Show's been around a long time. The show moves on. The show moves on. I'm like Rick in The Walking Dead. Whatever we do, we keep moving forward. Callers, guests, it doesn't matter. It sounds cold, but we're like a pack of rabid dogs, all right? When somebody's gone, the dogs just keep walking down the road. You know what I mean? That's why I'm never a big fan of whatever happened to that guy. Where is this guy at? I'm like, I don't know. You know what? He's not here. It's irrelevant. It's the only way I can operate. It's the only way I can operate. We have so many, look, we have all these new fans. We have new people. Like, it just, the wheels keep turning. You know what I'm saying? Well, to us, we're loyal to you. If you're not around, you're not around. We move on. It's the way it works. Yeah, which it's come to my attention right now, actually, as I look in the chat. Good point. I want to thank who brought this up. Van Fob. Where's Bruce Chad? Very disappointed in Bruce Chad right now. The problem is, Drew, a lot of the older people, they're not up with this shit. What's up, Bruce? Thanks for joining us, Bruce. Show boring? We boring you tonight, Bruce? You're dozing off tonight? I know. We woke him up. We're boring them. Sorry to bore you, Bruce. You can thank Van Fob for routing you out. Sorry we bored you to death tonight, Bruce. Fucking Bruce. Bruce fucking passed out on the couch, fucking Domino's boxes everywhere, the fucking gas mask bong. It's all good, Bruce. Bruce is the man. See, Bruce understands, man. I don't know, what do you do for a living, Bruce, besides trade Bitcoin? I don't think we know enough about Bruce. Bruce, extremely loyal. Now, speaking of Hall of Famers, we got Steve Wilson in the house. And we're going to have our Hall of Fame announcements coming up after the Super Bowl. Not the night of the Super Bowl. Let's get through the Super Bowl. We're going to come back, and then we're going to have a live show in Toronto, Ontario. I enjoy the road rages, but I'm tired of traveling. As I say that, I'm going to Costa Rica next week. But it's been we haven't had a live event. We haven't had a road rage in Toronto since our 15th anniversary show last December, and it was off the hook. That was the 15th anniversary tour, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. Clam Chowder was inducted, first ever Hall of Fame induction. Mick got inducted, but we want to do a real Hall of Fame induction with the proper ceremonies. And, we don't have our official announcements yet, but we all know Steve Wilson's getting in. He should have been already, but, I mean, Wilson's like the builder. Steve Wilson was actually tuned in to our first ever show 16 years ago. He should have been the first Hall of Fame inductee, but you know, it was clam chowder, and yeah, it was, you know, clam chowder. We threw, you know, but then clam chowder played us because he unretired. But the thing is, clam chowder unretires and delivers an unretirement. So I believe the next class we're looking at the unofficial, you know, we'll have the public feedback as well. Of course, I have the final say, but is there someone we're missing? Because we're looking at, although don't tell him, fuck, the Big E Eric Cohen. He deserves Hall of Fame status, Cohen, fuck. Around for a long time in our world. Cohen's not, but you know, he was on Game Time Decisions in New York City last month with us 2 months ago. He's around. You know, the guy works nights. He's beaten down. He's got a wife. The thing is, Cohen, you know, Cohen's like a Cohen is like a he was like Eric Lindros, who Cohen loves. He was like Eric Lindros. Cohen had a short career on Sports Rage, but a very impactful one. Like, you can't deny Cohen's impact on the league. And yes, Orville deserves consideration. I almost feel like Orville and Cohen, exactly. Like they're sort of there. That's like, you know, it's like Ali and Foreman. Like they're forever, like, you know, Manning and Brady, Cohen and Orville. They're forever joined at the hip. You can't have one without the other. You just can't. We've had a lot of funny bits over the years. Like, you know, we've been on a lot of different, like, sort of eras of the show. But one of the fucking election that we had, the fucking mayoral election that we had to be the mayor of Sports Rage was one of the funniest fucking things ever. It really was one of the funniest radio bits in the history of radio. The fact that it started out as sort of, it was during the election. It was like fucking 2008 election. Barack Obama, yes, we can, his first election. So we had all these like, yes, we can fucking things. And we had the producer of the show and the sports update guy hated each other. Fuck. And they used to bicker during the show, but it was fucking hilarious. And I set it up. So we had an election, fuck, to run for mayor. So the thing is, though, it got real serious and shit. And our producer guy actually secretly taped Eric Cohen. Like, I don't know if you guys realize that. Like, well, I was in on it. Fuck. I mean, we did, not just Orville. We did. I got to take blame. We recorded the guy in his personal conversations, fuck, to blackmail him and for the election. We actually, like, Orville actually had Cohen on his phone saying crazy shit and like cut it up in splices and then we played it for Cohen on the air. Cohen, it'd be a shame if your girlfriend ever heard this. And we played it. And Cohen was like fucking fuming, man, steaming, shaking. He's like, you guys recorded me? We're like, wow, you know, it's an election. Fuck, dirty politics, buddy. So Eric Cohen fucking called fucking Orville's wife and said that he was cheating on her. He actually called Orville's wife, girlfriend at the time, and said, I just want to let you know that, Orville's fucking around at the station with an intern. And she's like, no, he's not. I know you're deranged and you're just calling because of this stupid election you guys are having. Cohen's like, no. Fucking. The guy, Cohen, was so mad, he called Orville's girlfriend and said, Aaron is cheating on you. He's fucking a chick at the station. And Aaron's girlfriend throws it back. She goes, you're deranged to do this. We got called in. We got called in by management. The manager, it was HR, everyone was involved. They're like, Morency, it come to our attention that you're having an election on your show, some mayoral thing. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, it's out of control. They're like, you guys illegally recorded an employee here. Like, they could sue us. They're like, you guys recorded him and then played it on the radio. And I was like, yeah. We're like, yeah, it wasn't good fun. We're like, he's not that mad. He's like, oh, he's fucking freaking. He came here freaking out about it. Like, we're like, no, it was just in fun. But no, it was just a joke, fuck. And then Orville was just classic. When he walked in, he goes, you went too fucking far, man. He goes, us recording you talking bullshit's one thing. He goes, you called my girlfriend and said I was cheating on her? He goes, you're fucking sick, fuck. And then fucking Orville had like 47,000 votes to fucking Cohen's like 18,000. So Cohen was getting pissed, fuck, right? So Cohen was like trying to smear Orville and like, Orville's a bad guy and fucking, but it was really nasty. It was the best radio ever, fuck. It went on for like 2 weeks. We stretched it out, fuck, the election. So I interviewed them and they made their case to why they should be mayor. There were a couple of other candidates, but the other candidates were lightweights next to these two. So Orville fucking rigged it. So Orville had like 47,000 votes. Then Cohen fucking rigged it. Cohen had like 140,000 votes. It got out of hand. These guys would have done anything to win. It really was one of the funniest things fucking ever, man. Like, even me, like, I remember, like, fucking, at the time, I thought it was funny. But even me after, when I realized, I was like, fuck, I can't believe we actually really recorded the guy. Like, we secretly fucking recorded his booth. Because he used to, like, he had his own radio booth. And he used to do, like, score updates. But we know he was on the phone all the time. And we used to bitch at him, fuck. We're like, man, you're on the phone more than a teenage girl. What are you doing in there? So I used to call him out, like in the middle of the show. I was like, Cohen, are you on the phone? No, Gabe. And he put the phone down fast. No, I'm not on the phone. We're like, you're on the phone, fuck. So fucking finally Orville was like, you know what? Let's see what he's saying. So we fucking secretly recorded. He was fucking pissed. We caused so much shit at that network, man. So that was great times. It was a great era. Remember when I smashed the TV with the hammer, fuck, and it exploded? I got in shit for that. I threw a hammer through a TV, fuck, in a television studio once. And the TV, like, caught fire. I don't know how. It was like, and it fucking, all this, like, toxic fumes and smoke went out. And I took the TV. It was in my radio booth. So I took the TV out. I was like, holy shit, man. It's like fucking toxic fumes in here. So I'm all like this. And I took the TV and I fucking sort of threw it in the hallway of the TV station. And of course, fuck, this fucking goody fucking bitch fucking chick that used to complain about everything happened to see me. So she fucking tells HR, fuck, oh my God, Morency, that Radio Morency guy, he was in the hallway throwing hammers at TVs and they were on fire and he was laughing. And they were like, were you smashing TVs with hammers last night? And were you laughing after you set a fire? I guess there was broken glass everywhere. And I guess I told the chick, watch out for the glass. Like, you know, but I don't know. I told her sarcastically. I said, better watch out for the glass. I said something to her. We had some good times. We really stirred the pot there. Like, I'll never forget that. Bang! The fucking hammer went right through. And it was like, it was like a delayed reaction. It's like we were all looking. And it was like, and then it just started to smoke, fuck. Except it wasn't like healthy smoke, weed smoke, man. It was like this, it smelled like just toxic. And we're like, oh shit. Like the fucking alarm, like it was bad, fuck. Boy, they were freaked out. They were like, you know, the TV that you broke had toxic fumes. You fucking, you know, you endangered the safety of the office. Oh, they were scolding me. At that network, guys, I used to get called in like every 2 weeks, fuck. The maddest they ever were, well, obviously when I got fired, they were pretty mad. But the maddest they ever were is when I ripped Subway. I ripped Subway, the restaurant. I got the call in the morning, and Richard Garner told me, he goes, Gabe, I think they're going to fire you. I was like, come on. And he goes, no, I'm serious. He goes, I can't save you. He goes, they're freaking out. And he goes, I can't help you on this. You're on your own. He goes, I'm just giving you a heads up that your phone's going to ring and I can't help you. And you're going to have to deal with these people. I was like, oh, fuck me. Really? Oh, and then there was the time that I stormed the radio studio and tried to kill Dean Blundell. Fuck. They were pretty upset about that too. Then that time my phone rang literally like 5 minutes after I left Blundell's studio. Richard Garner called me. He goes, is it true? Is it true? Did you just fucking go to Dean Blundell's studio and threaten him? He's like, are you trying to get fired? He goes, really? Like, are you trying? He goes, every fucking week there's a new fucking incident. He goes, fucking Subway, Dean Blundell, you're fucking smashing shit. Fucking, you're smoking weed on the balcony. He goes, every week, fuck. That was a good one, too. No, I didn't even rip Subway. Point blank, they asked me. On national television, I was asked, what do you think of Michael Phelps being dropped by Subway for smoking weed? And I said, I had a bad move by Subway. I said, people that eat at Subway either just smoked a joint or don't have any money left, so they buy a $5 foot long because they just spent all their money on weed. I said, everyone that goes to Subway smokes weed. The Subway freaked out, fuck. So Subway fucking freaked. Subway were powerful then too. They're still powerful, Subway. You can suck my dick, fuck. But I didn't eat at Subway for like 2 years after that. I was like, fuck them. You guys tried to ruin my career. I'm like, fucking. Yeah, whatever, fuck. I cost the score $250,000. That's the thing. I can't say that they didn't go to bat for me. Like, I cost the score $250,000 in advertising. Subway wanted to cancel an $850,000 deal with the whole network because of me, solely because of me. So that's why I was fired. Like, they basically told me, dude, you just cost us $1 million. You're fired. like the salespeople were like, you got to fire this guy. Why don't you fire him? They're like, you should have fired him already. And they were like, well, just slow down. And they were like, we have an $850,000 contract and they're going to cancel it because of you. And because I was like, why? What's the deal here? Why is everyone so upset? And that was the deal. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't beat this. I'm done. So I was expecting it. Fortunately, though, John Levy, the owner of the Score, stood up for me. I appreciate that. That's why I don't bash Levy. He was good for me. He was nice to me. You know, I went across the line. I crossed that line finally, and there was no turning back. But Levy stood up for me, and they didn't cancel the deal. Subway just shook. This Subway fucking played the Score. The Score gave Subway 1 free month of advertising. It was like $250,000. I was supposed to apologize on the air about Subway and say that fucking people aren't only stoned that eat there. But it's funny. Instead, they didn't want me mentioning it. So instead, I got the old never, ever, ever, ever mention Subway ever again. They were like, don't mention it. Just don't talk about it. They were like, if somebody asks you about it, just don't answer them. Is that what the Score stock is right now? 14 cents? Yeah, sorry, guys. Sorry for letting Kenny fucking run his mouth in here. I didn't see him earlier. I don't mind the Curtis Granderson signing. It's actually a good deal. What's he only making $5 million, right? I mean, the guy puts up the different I appreciate that, Degenerate Dean. Exactly. The Score's gone. Subway's on the decline, and we're still here. We've outlasted a lot of people, stations, companies. That's why we got to start betting futures. We don't seem to be dying, so I'm one of these people that always thinks I'm going to die, right? Like, really, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I'm always like, well, probably fucking die anyways. Like, hard to believe. We went 2 hours. We haven't taken a break yet. Time to blaze one, everyone. Hey, Match Fixer, next time you give us a fucking pick, let's make sure it's fucking the same night, all right? What do we got to wait 3 weeks for this Lara gut play? Fuck.
Top 10 special on there. The victim is always here. Glad to be tuned in. On today's show, we're going to look at some of the wacky moments in CFL history. Moments that you really have to see to believe. We've got old guys fighting. We've got fumbling.
They got best of on TSN right now. Normally, I'd be like, that sucks. But they have the top 10 wackiest moments in CFL history. The CFL is a pretty wacky league. It's probably pretty funny. Here's Canada.
We see thee rise, the true and strong and free. Instead of Canada, it was more like a Christmas tree. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
That should be a no-brainer.
From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Lions Stadium really knew us, except for the Canadian players on our sideline.
Wow. That anthem might be the worst anthem ever.
Glorious and free.
You couldn't help but laugh. It was one of those moments. Wow, that's embarrassing.
Oh.
Here was an Nagano earlier today.
To the news because you're focused on the fight. But did you hear these comments from the president about these controversial comments last week? And if so, were you bothered by them at all?
I think everyone heard about it. Basically, in my situation, everyone concerned about immigration and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Are you bothered by it? Are you offended?
Yes. I mean, all those people that he was talking about is people like us. It's kind of difficult to accept a thing like that, to hear a thing like that, because it seems like for myself, know what the goal for me to thought about leave my country and see someone who just want to break that dream, that hope who people are following. This guy is like a shame for America. Yes, America was built for the immigration. America is the country that the world, the poor country in the world, looking for them like a model, expecting to not expect America to give them something, but just to look at them like an example and build their own country and get a better situation. And then this country been doing well with a great president. I mean, with like the last one, Barack Obama, like Martin Luther King, people like that who really helped to work for that. And today we have some guy like Donald Trump who come and break all that down. So it's just a shame.
In Detroit, you used your platform to talk about what was happening in Libya. Do you feel a responsibility because of how popular you are getting to speak about these things and to not just talk about fighting?
I don't feel responsible. It's not. I don't feel it like a responsibility. I'm an immigrant. I was, I am, and I will be an immigrant. This year, next year, 10 years after, I will still be an immigrant. So I know that particular situation. I know how is it. I know how difficult is it. I know why those people leave their country. They are not leave their country because they want to leave their country. They are not leave their country because they love other country than their country. They leave their country because they don't have choice, because they are looking for opportunity. They are looking for change. They want to change things for their family. They don't want their kid to live in the same situation that they did. They want to give the chance for their kid to have what they didn't have in their life. They want to give sacrifice themselves for their family, for their kid. They say, okay, doesn't matter if I never student, but I will do my best for my kid. I will do my best if one day I have a kid, give it that chance so the cheating can change. So it's not just because you love some country, you want it. No, in my particular case, if I think if it was easy for me, I would stay in Cameroon. I like to be close to my family, but one day I didn't have. I felt like I don't have choice, so I left everything, left my family, my friends, and everything. My 26 years life behind me, close the door, and take the road, go somewhere that I don't know. how it looked like, you know. So it was very tough, and that is something that I didn't do it by choice.
Pretty deep dude. Yeah, that's not like Bo Scarborough just saying, "Oh, fuck Trump." That's an interesting perspective from a dude who's lived it. I don't think it'll be a distraction for the fight. Yeah, the media likes to blow shit up, and I don't think it's going to have any effect on Stipe Miocic or Ngannou. I think Ngannou's going to beat him, man. I just think that power is too much to overcome. The world Guinness fucking record holder for the hardest punch ever recorded. Now, not everyone in the world has recorded a punch, but nobody's punches like this guy. Anyone who watches the UFC knows. There's knockouts and there's knockouts. Like when he knocks you out, like you think after, like, holy shit, fuck, I hope this other guy's all right. Like Alistair Overeem, like looked like he was dead for like fucking 5 minutes, man. Overeem didn't move. Like Overeem's a big dude, you know. Like Ngannou's punching power is just too much. He's going to connect, and Miocic's not going to be able to eat it. You know, you get these phenoms that come along every once in a while, and I think, you know, this is one of these phenoms right now. I'm not going to fight it. I was hesitant at first. I remember the Curtis Blades fight. I was like, look, man, this guy's getting taken down. Fuck. It's like, yeah, but yeah, look at people's fucking heads, man. Like when he punches you, in most fights, you'll see, all right, there'll be a knockout, buddy will get knocked down and shit. When the guy who punches you, you get the fucking snapback. Like he punches you, and big dudes' heads just fucking they're like on a spring. Bing, they just fucking go back. Like the power is on. You can't train for that. You can't train for that. Like, yeah, Brock Lesnar had a big hand, man. Brock Lesnar had the biggest hand in UFC history. Fuck. I don't know if you ever seen Brock's hand, his glove. Brock's hand is like this big. Like my hand's like this. Like Brock's like 2 hands. Probably like not 2. Probably like 3 fingers. Like I would say, you know, maybe 2 actually. Brock might be both my fists. Like he's like Brock Lesnar's hand is not normal. It's like a bear paw. It's like a bear paw. Like it's abnormally large. You notice it. You're like, holy fuck, man, that guy's got a big fucking fist. Like they're just like these big bear paws. But he's not a good striker. Brock doesn't know how to use his power. But if he hits you, you're fucked. But he doesn't really know how to use his power. Ngannou knows how to use the power. Like Ngannou's got it down from the hip and like the whole power shit. He doesn't just use the arm. A lot of UFC fighters, even though they're fighters, they're not very good strikers. You know, they sort of fucking rely on their sheer power and shit. Like Ngannou actually has mastered the whole from the ass up and the max fucking power. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I don't see how. I dropped the politics. I just played it again because it's relevant because he played. He's fighting this weekend, and he was asked about this today. Brock Lesnar's old, Blaker. He's done. Lesnar's done. Yeah, Joe Rogan's got big hands too. Joe Rogan's a nut job. Joe Rogan can fuck people up for real, man. Like, like Joe Rogan like could fight in the UFC type shit. Not now, he's older, you know what I mean? But like Rogan's skill level is good enough that, like, put it this way, like if Rogan got into a fight with a real UFC fighter, like in a bar backstage or something after a night out, he wouldn't be in a lot of trouble. Like, he wouldn't be like, oh, if Rogan's fucked, you know what I mean? Like, like if shit hits the fan, man, Rogan's gonna fucking take you down and fucking you're gonna be in a fucking bad fucking spot in like 10 seconds. Like submission, like your arm's gonna be like, stop, Joe, stop. I saw Rogan once, there's a video out there. There's a radio host that was talking shit to Rogan. He's like, what makes you this big UFC expert? You're just the guy from Fear Factor. And Rogan was like, keep talking, buddy. And like Rogan was like hesitant. And finally Rogan, you see it? Didn't Rogan like fucking start to choke the guy out, put him in a headlock fucking? All right, Rogan's big time pro weed. Match fixing alert says Indonesia basketball. GNE Slingwang. All right. Plus 1,100. Match fixing alerts. I like your style, match fixing alert. You're plus money on the program so far. We're keeping track. You're plus money on the show. You gave us a plus 220 and a plus 240, and you hit the plus 240. I like your style. Why not? We always say it. These Chinese leagues, Chinese, Indonesia, Philippines, they're all fixed, man. They're all fixed. Who knows? Fuck. I'm on to Kia Picanto go. Let me know next time if anyone sees Kia Picanto is playing. Let me know. These guys are fucking throwing games. I guarantee you they are. We'll bet again. I guarantee you. It's the same shit every fucking time with these guys, that Kia team. Every time. I've seen the same pattern 3 times with them now. All right? And I bet against it. I finally caught on. I won with it. Listen, that night I bet on them a couple of weeks ago. They were plus 10. They were up 49-47 at the half, guys. I gave it to you, too. Remember that night? They were up 49-47 at the half. They lost 124-77. How do you do that? How do you go from 49-47 to 124-77? Okay, so that night I was like, you got to be kidding me, fuck. They played again. In the Philippines, they often play, like it's not playoffs, but they often play like these home and homes and neutral court, whatever. They often play back-to-backs and shit. So 2 nights later, they're playing the same matchup again, same teams. Same thing happens. Same thing happens. It's like fucking 40-35 at the half. Final score is like fucking 114-52 type shit. Kia Picanto are rolling over in the second half. These guys are nailing the in game and shit. They're rolling over. I guarantee it. Guaranteed. I told you, fuck. I spoke to an NBA agent who has like smaller players that are in these leagues, and he told me, I heard you bet on this shit. He's like, don't do it. He goes, it's all fixed. He even told me how they do it and shit. Like, this J.K. Simmons TV show looks pretty good. When I saw the ad, Counterpart, I saw the ad. I was like, this looks like a good movie. It's a TV series, Counterpart. Ace Farmer lost. What are you doing betting your house on Pacific, Ace Farmer? Yeah, we're taking the Manchester Blues against Joey Crawford. We're taking. All right, so Indonesia League. Hey, fuck me. All right. What's going on with UCLA? Fuck. I haven't even paid attention to this stupid game. I see you guys complaining that it's a shitty game. Like, I'm just getting frustrated, man. My picks don't suck, but they're not great. Fuck, I'm winning, I'm losing, I'm losing, I'm winning. I'm betting too many games. I'm just, I got to dig down deep, take it more seriously. 46-40. Well, I take it seriously, but I got to focus in on a few games. Like I said, I'm getting ready for the weekend. I got some NFL stuff I want to talk about still, though. We haven't talked much NFL tonight. The countdown's on. I'm only going to be on tonight and tomorrow with you guys before the football. I'll be on Sunday night during the game, though, guys. Betcast, me and Babano. UCLA is losing 46-40 with 12 minutes left. And we'll keep our eye on this. I just opened up the stream. Right, Silwang. Basketball. Indonesia. There we go, Indonesia. Pretty crazy, actually. I'm not putting this. I just did this by accident. I put an extra 0 by accident. I was like, 25. I don't have a lot in my account right now. I had to load up. But 25. Money line plus 1,100. Pays 300. But I did 250 by accident. I'm like, $3,000. Yeah, $25, guys, pays $300. Fuck. $25 pays $300. Yeah, I know Lara Gut's pending match fixing, but fuck, when are they going to start skiing? Fuck. And what does podium mean? We got to wait fucking 3 days for this shit? I like you, match fixer, but man, you got to get, keep it in the same night, bro. Oh, yeah, Kia Picanto's playing tonight, versus Rain or Shine. Rain or Shine are going to fucking kill him. Rain or Shine are going to kill him. What is it, DGen hour now in the late night hours here? Rain or Shine, Sling Wang. We're betting on Sling Wang. What's that other fucking league? We got Australia, and there's some real basketball. 36ers and the Hawks, Perth Wildcats and the Kings. Let's go with a moneyline parlay. Adelaide and Perth, moneyline parlay, minus 162. That's going to win. Late night winner right there. Adelaide 36ers at home against the Illawarra Hawks. Illawarra Hawks. And Perth Wildcats. Perth Wildcats are laying 10.5 to the Sydney Kings. Perth are one of the best teams. Sydney are one of the worst teams. Speaking of Aussies, Mick Aussie caused a lot of problems last week. But you guys thought, it was debatable. I thought that Mick was out of line. Some of you said, no, big man provoked it. I didn't think so. But one thing with Mick, and I don't really think the SBR format was the best format for him. I tried to get him on the Red Heat and Rage radio show, to be honest, but he's busier during the day. But he's funny when he's hammered sometimes. But on a more serious note with Mick, listen, he's no NFL handicapper. But Mick is good at AFL football, guys, and we weren't here on SBR during the AFL season. For the record, if you're unaware, we're big AFL football bettors. Aussie football rules, the Aussie Football League. And Mick is good at it. Mick's father is very good at it. Mick's father bets on the AFL. Mick bets a bit on the AFL, but Mick's father's into it, fuck. And Mick's father's picks are good. Mick's picks are pretty good. But it's crazy. Next time we get Mick on, I swear, it'll freak you out. Some of you guys saw it on my Patreon show. One night Mick was on. He was all wasted. And I started drilling him with fucking AFL questions. Hard questions, guys. I was like, all right, Mick. I was like, who fucking led the league in scoring in 1986? And Mick would take a minute and he'd fucking throw a name out and it would be right. I swear to God, I asked Mick 20 fucking AFL questions. And I think there was one he didn't know. And the answer was from 1953. Fuck. I give him credit. I remember telling him. He was like, oh, I should have known that. I was like, no, I'll give you credit, Mick. It was I'll cut you slack, bro. I was like, 1953, man. So, yeah. So, when the AFL season starts, which probably isn't that far off. They don't have that long of an off season. Mick will be on Friday nights, and it'll be perfect because the AFL plays Friday night at about 1 a.m. So Mick will be a good regular then. National Rugby, NRL? National Rugby League. I bet on that too. I like rugby. I do. Toronto Wolfpack kicked the shit out of everyone. They're moving up. I like rugby. I enjoy watching rugby. I like watching good rugby. If it's good teams and shit. I don't like, some of the Scottish shit, whatever, the Scottish League or whatever and all that shit. But, I like watching high-level good rugby. I don't know. I've been covering the AFL for a long time. So, I actually got the yeah, I did, Joey Crawford. Yes, I really did. Fuck, not till Thursday, March 22nd. Too bad. Yeah, we'll bet some rugby when it starts. I like to bet on rugby unders. That's my deal. I like rugby unders. The rugby 7 shit's high scoring. That's different. Yeah, exactly, Dean. You know, listen, I'm not pretending to be the biggest rugby expert. I'm not pretending to be the biggest rugby expert. But yeah, when you're watching sports live in game, you know, you get a feel for it. I like rugby, but I know more about the AFL. Like, I couldn't be a referee in the AFL. Like, I couldn't pass the ref quiz or anything like that. But like the AFL, like, isn't just a league. Like, oh, I'm just throwing darts and shit. Like, no, I watch the league. I know the teams. I know the sport. I have a good feel for it too, and I'm pretty good at it. Me and Mick were fucking good last year for the first 8 weeks. It was nuts, fuck. Seriously, like there was 1 week. I know some of you, a lot of you guys were following it. Remember, there were the first 10 weeks or so. It was up to about week 9 or round 9, they call it. But I remember 1 week, man, fucking me and Mick were both 8-0. There were a lot of 6-1s and fucking 5-0s, and then we hit the wall, fuck. I remember I hit the fucking wall, man. I didn't win from like week 9 to 17 type shit. It was a fucking whacked out season last year in that league. Everything was very predictable for the first 9 weeks, and then shit got crazy. I said it earlier, Dean. I said San Francisco Dawn shouldn't be favored by 10 against anybody. Good play. Bobbert. Yeah, Bobbert will be a good rugby guy to fall back on. You guys don't know, Bobbert's in New Zealand, so he knows rugby. He knows the Australian Basketball League. He knows the Aussie Football League. My rugby team's the Toronto Wolfpack, baby. Toronto Wolfpack. Yes, sir, Kyle Honeysett. Name a sport, and I'll tell you if it's an over or an under. Name a country. Japan, baseball unders. Korea, baseball overs. Yeah, if you're betting, if you're betting, if you're betting Japanese baseball, it's a low-scoring league. Fundamentals, good pitching, good defense. The Korean league, the fucking fences are like 200 feet. Fuck. Korean league baseball games are like 22 to fucking 18 and shit. Australian baseball, really high scoring, guys. The Australian baseball league's going on now. Australian league, I noticed favorites win and it's high scoring. As far as the Toronto Wolfpack is concerned, yeah. Listen, they started out on the smallest tier, but you got to give them some love. They're the first North American rugby team. Like, there's rugby teams, but these guys are the first North American team. Like, the Toronto Wolfpack play in the British League. And the goal is to one day make it to, like, the big-time leagues. They're already moved on to the next league. They fucking smashed the fucking league. The Toronto Wolfpack, like, dominated the fucking British League, smashed it, and now they're moving up to the next one. It's, you know what's good, though? It's sort of like soccer, right? They just prove themselves. They win, they move up. They win, they move up. You guys would know more than me. You guys would know more than me, like Bobbert and Drew and maybe Degenerate Dean would know more about the leagues. But I guess, like, there's like 5 leagues or like sort of 4 or 5 tiers. They started out at 1. Right? Now they're up to 2. And supposedly they're going to kick the shit out of everyone in the second league too. I'll tell you about handball in a second. Fuck, I know a lot about handball. So yeah, you guys would know. Someone would know more about the leagues, but they're moving up in next league now. So they're moving up. They're stacked. And like even in the rugby world, I hear like, oh yeah, these guys are fucking, they're going to kick the shit out of these guys again. Like even this next league, they're moving up in class. And the goal is, and the ownership of this Wolfpack aren't fucking around. The goal is within 5 years, they want to be in like the Premier League in England. That's the goal. Not to be in the super leagues and shit like that. They can't play the All Blacks and shit. You know what I mean? But like, the goal is to make it to the British Premier Rugby League. You know, the only problem was, though, I couldn't get lines on the Wolfpack games last year. It was too low tier. I couldn't find any numbers. So hopefully now that they're in the second division, you know, we'll get some fucking numbers for this shit. It's the real deal, man. Look, they played in a little stadium. I live right near the place. They play in a little stadium. You know, it only holds about fucking 4,000 people or 5,000. I think they can cram 7 or 8 in there, like standing and shit. It's a nice little stage. It's right in front of Sirius, actually. I used to like overlook it every night, fuck, when I was doing the Sirius shit, or not every night when I did the show there, but their popularity, like, look, they were on fucking the Fantasy Sports Network and Game TV this year. I think they just signed a deal with TSN, didn't they? Or I see they have a major TV announcement coming up. Like, from a corporate standpoint, it's taken off. Like, you see a lot of Toronto Wolfpack gear, especially in my neighborhood. I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of TFC and Wolfpack fans. It's sort of like they're into that shit. They're different, you know what I mean? Soccer and rugby. But you see a lot of Wolfpack gear around suddenly. And I live in a neighborhood, man. When the Wolfpack played, man, there's like fucking 7,000-8,000 nutjob rugby fans getting fucking wasted cheering and shit. And everyone loves a winner, baby, especially in a big city like Toronto. So the fact that they beat the shit out of everybody every week, people liked it. I find handball, Dean, to be the most, you're right. There's no upsets in handball. In women's handball specifically, you're right. Men's sometimes, but for the most part, not. One thing I will say, though, about men's handball is, and women's handball in the in-game, I've never seen a motherfucking more accurate fucking in-game number, man. Never seen a more accurate in-game number. Than women's fucking and men's handball. I swear to God, fuck, it's so fucking accurate, those numbers. I don't like betting on handball. Yeah, I don't mind a woman's handball either, or I don't mind my ball in a woman's hand, but I don't like betting on handball. I'm not saying I have it, but settle down, Ace Farmer. Settle down, HTC. Hey, everyone just settle down. No, not really, George. We didn't, we can get more to the basketball leagues. The Australian League doesn't play to the over or the under. The Australian League is sort of real basketball. What did somebody tell me that's like the 7th ranked league in the world? I personally find that a little low. I think the caliber of play is pretty good in the NBL. But I guess, I mean, look, you got the NBA, you got the Euro League. The Euro League's fucking good, The Euro League's better, obviously, than the Australian League. But I don't know, what's on one of the rankings? People say the Turkish league is better than Australia. The Lithuanian league, I don't buy that. And not the Lithuanian league that that the balls are in. The balls are in like the fucking Division 2 shit in Lithuania. Speaking of Division 2, fuck, what's going on with UCLA? Like basketball leagues. As I stated, Philippines, don't be fooled. All right, the Asian leagues, don't be fooled. I'll tell you one thing to catch on in the Philippines. Now, it's not always going to work, but basically, it seems like they fix the games in the first half, and then there's wild swings. Another thing I'll notice in the Philippines and in the Japanese BJ League, too, the Tier 2 Japanese League. I think they changed the name, though, from the BJ League to the J League. It's the same shit. Like, you'll see a team, if you don't know much about it, you jump in, you're like, oh, look, this team outscored them 40-13. And in the next quarter, the other team will outscore the other team by 20. It's really up and down. Like, it's very manipulated and fixed. All right, it's 52-52 in the UCLA game. Futsal, I bet on unders when I play futsal. I'm an under better when it comes to beach soccer, too. Yeah, you know, Dean, you know what I'm talking about. I guess we're just perverts, Dean. I have a hard time. Like I said, like, I guess I'm just too perverted. Like, I watch women's tennis and I just want to call a hooker. Fuck. I'm like I said, I'm losing money the other night on Plig. I'm like, damn, man, all these chicks are hot. These tennis chicks are all cute nowadays. It's like that netball. Yeah, the king of hockey, Orville. That was the best. It's like, yeah, what? You guys watch netball. Holy shit. These chicks' asses, man. I'm a big fan of the figure skating at the Olympics, too. I'm a big fan of the Olympics, except one thing we'll say now, and I'm going to give you guys a warning, all right? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But anytime you're watching figure skating in the Olympics and you're like, holy shit, always hold off. All right. It happened to us once on the radio in Montreal years ago. I fucking said something. I'm like, oh, man. I said something about like, I said, holy crap, these figure skaters from, I didn't know the chick's name. I said, this figure skater from Russia, man. I said something. I said, whoa. I didn't really get into, thank God, I didn't say too much. But I was like, I said something. I was like, whoa. It was on live and I was on the radio. And then the phones started coming and people were like, they're like, holy shit, look at this chick, Morency. And then like we found out, they're like, she's 17 or something. I remember telling everyone after, from now on in the Olympics, don't say anything, all right? Make sure you check out the you know, we got to check this shit out. Like, don't say anything about any of these figure skaters until you do a Google search, okay? Like, it was funny because later in the show, somebody called. They're like, hey, you see that figure skate? I was like, yeah, whoa, hey, yeah. Like, I was like, yeah, let's move on here, buddy, all right? It's like, yeah, we noticed, but we were all wrong, okay? We were wrong. Exactly. If you're looking at a gymnast, don't say, oh, my God, look at that ass, fuck. You know what I mean? We've all done it. You're looking at the gymnast's ass thinking, holy fuck, man. Imagine the things I could do to this chick. Then, you know, it's like, yeah, don't say it out loud, fuck, because you're going to find out Ali Reisman's 16. You know? Yeah, Hey, George said, that's great information, Gabe. There's the real information I just gave you. If we don't, all of us, if we don't want to be part of the Me Too hashtag movement, and we don't want to be like Woody Allen, we have to really be careful during the Olympics before we all go, oh my God. We've all done it. Oh my God.
Holiday gets the lead back for the Bruins. Holiday 9 of 10 at the free throw. That's been basically all the Bruins free throws. Ethan Thompson. Mismatch against Oleshinsky. Oleshinsky's fifth. He's done. I completely disagree with that call. Oleshinsky has every right to say, look, he lifted me on a shot fake, but he recovered. You tell me where the foul is here. That's how you teach defense.
Shut up, Gottlieb. I'm on UCLA, but that's a foul. He fucking fouled him, Gottlieb. I got money on UCLA. Like, is Doug Gottlieb, like, wrong just this much all the time? I got money on UCLA, and I'm like, Gottlieb, it's a foul. He fouled him.
Also can shoot, so he also can run that corner spot in the zone. Alex Oleshinsky's like, what did I do wrong? You can't hope for a BCA. Big man from
You fucking bumped him. That's what he did wrong, Gottlieb. You can't bump him.
Well done, by the way. That was really good. You got Gigi's first name. I did. Just trying to keep up. Big free throws. Beavers by 1. Oregon State, you have to find number 3 and just corral Aaron Holiday. And then no open looks for this guy. Welsh. Under 5 minutes to play. Holiday draped all over Ethan Thompson with 8 to shoot. 4 to shoot for Stevie Thompson. Running floater. Eubanks taps it back. Won't fall. Holiday looking for numbers. Might not matter. Wilkes, long reach and through. Bruins by 1. Beavs have missed 6 of the last 7 shots. I've got 5 minutes without a made field goal. It's Holiday in the air. 8 to shoot. Thompson baseline. Trying to get over. Goldman put through. Berger having himself another night. He's got 10. Stevie Thompson, the foul. Number 2 on the junior from LA. A Gilcom see him on. Trace Tinkle and the Beavs trying to take down the Bruins. They're on top by 1.
The future of football is now in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. FS1. Watch college football's best of the best pursue their lifelong dream and prove their worth. This kid is so Saturday, the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl on FS1.
Oh, he's so beautiful.
At least your taxes are free.
Intuit TurboTax.
Every day, people are fighting type 2 diabetes with fitness, food, and the pill that starts with F. Farxiga, along with diet and exercise, helps lower blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes, lowering A1C by up to 1.2 points.
Do not take if allergic to Farxiga. If you experience symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, such as rash, swelling, difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking and seek medical help right away. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems, are on dialysis, or have bladder cancer. Tell your doctor right away if you have blood or red color in your urine or pain while you urinate. Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including dehydration, genital yeast infections in women and men, serious urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, and kidney problems. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have signs of ketoacidosis, which is serious and may lead to death.
Ask your doctor about the pill that starts with F and visit Farxiga.com for savings. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
You spray. You awkward. You're gold. Smell fresh all day with new Axe Gold Body Spray.
What a jump! Watch out for this one. Expect anything different?
Casey Jefferson comes up on the post-game show. UFC suddenly on the hot streak with some drama tonight in St. Mary's and Gonzaga going right down to the wire. Plus, Bill Raftery sits down with Michigan State sophomore sensation Miles Bridges. Pass me that rock. Casey, we're both open. You think I'm giving this guy a ball? No way. You know, Doug Gottlieb never passed me the ball either at the YMCA back in the day.
All right, thank you guys. We've seen 12 different lead changes. Beavers by 1 under 3.5 to play. The greatest day in all of racing returns this February. The Daytona 500 kicks off the new season, President's Day weekend, only on Fox. The 60th running.
Party here in Fort Vegas. Skill Coliseum. But UCLA has been very good from the free throw line. Especially this guy. And look at the disparity. Both bipolar in nature. When they win, they make their free throws in conference. When they lose, those 2 losses, terrible. It's basically been all Aaron Holiday. He's 9 of 10 for line so far.
And another.
He has the perfect makeup to be a backup point guard in the NBA. And that may sound like a slight to somebody who's watching. Why would the backup point guards have to come in and play 94-foot defense, have to know their role, be good enough to slide in and start? And as good as Lonzo Ball has the potential to be, how good would the Lakers be if they had a backup like Aaron Holiday instead of Tyler Ennis?
His last 8 points to come to the line. He's given the Bruins a 1-point lead.
Such a competitor.
Under 10 to shoot. Eubanks the high screen. Jacob heaves a 3. Nails it.
Fuck.
Well, Steve 2. Well off the mark. Very surprising for Thomas Wells. Under 2.5. Stevie Thompson wide open. Timeout UCLA.
65-60 with 2 minutes left for Oregon State. That's just great. What's up, Chris Edge? It's too bad Chris Edge can't come down to Costa Rica. I don't know how many of you guys can come on such short notice. Sounds like we're going to be throwing it down on the beach, actually. Well, Brett, you got a puncher's chance here still. I got +1.5, and I'm starting to fade. So somebody asked earlier, actually, about when we're thinking about doing the Rage. Let me check the calendar here in Toronto. When do the NBA playoffs start? NBA playoffs. This is interesting, just for the record right now. If the NBA playoffs started today, somebody please tell me when's the last NBA game? I can't wait till April to do the show, though. We'll do this shit in March. Fuck. If the NBA playoffs started today, the Boston Celtics would play the Philadelphia 76ers. Well, that'd be interesting. The Toronto Raptors would play the Milwaukee Bucks. The Cleveland Cavaliers would play the Indiana Pacers. And the Washington Heat Washington and the Heat would play each other. In the West, Golden State versus the LA Clippers. Houston versus New Orleans. That'd be a fucking fun series, Houston, New Orleans. NBA playoffs could be off the hook. San Antonio, Portland. Minnesota, Oklahoma City. That'll be a good series, too. Some good shit coming up in the NBA. Now, obviously, these aren't going to be exact, but probably kind of, you know. You know, the Raptors might be the 1 seed. Boston are 34-12. The Raptors are 30-13. You know, they've got games in hand. The Raptors could end up being the 1 seed. Then they would play Philadelphia in the first round. I mean, you know, and really, if you look at the West, nothing's really going to change. Like, there's a big discrepancy. Like, in the West, you got your top 8, and then you got the Denver Nuggets. Basically, the Denver Nuggets and the Clippers are battling for the 8 spots. The Pelicans are right there, but, you know, like the Clippers are 23-21, the Nuggets are 23-22, and then the Jazz are 18-26, and they're not going anywhere. The Phoenix Suns are 16-29. They're not, like, going on a run. So, essentially, the playoffs are set. It's just between the Nuggets and the Clippers, really. And I guess you could argue the Pelicans, but the Pelicans are pretty good. The East, similar situation. Like I said, not much going to change. I mean, the East, the 8 teams we just mentioned are in. Listen, the Detroit Pistons and the Philadelphia 76ers essentially have the same record, so they're battling it out. The New York Knicks are right there. I like the Knicks, just I find them less annoying than the Sixers. Like, the Knicks are right there regrowing, and they're not fucking tweeting about process this and all this bullshit, but Knicks are struggling right now, 3-7 in their last 10. Charlotte Hornets are a decent team, but they're 18-25. They've had a lot of injuries. I don't know. It might be too late for them. You know, they could go on a run. The Bulls, nice turnaround for the Bulls, but they're not making the playoffs. So the playoff picture is pretty much set. Yeah, I am a little shaken by Las Vegas beating Tampa tonight. So look, I looked away for 2 minutes here. There was 2 minutes left in this game, and it was 65-60. I look back right now, it's 67-60 with 37 seconds remaining, and Oregon State going to the line. So you fucking fucksticks couldn't score 1 fucking point? Like, you couldn't score a basket in the last 2 minutes of a fucking game? When's the last time you guys fucking scored a basket? Fuck. 67-60. Yeah, we're dead. Fuck. It's only for you in-game players if you got points. UCLA for 3. It's good. Down by 4 with 26 seconds left. All right, I got so much NFL information. Let me just share this with you. This is something that's interesting for those of you that like the Jags this week. You know, to me, you know, one of their biggest issues is going to be covering Rob Gronkowski. So who's going to cover Rob Gronkowski? I personally would put Jalen Ramsey on him, but they're not going to do that. You know, they're not going to read, you know, teams don't like retool. They should. So essentially the word is basically that they're going to have Telvin Smith and Miles Jack that'll take turns alternating sort of. And they're both linebackers. Miles Jack is very athletic. He's a great athlete. I get it. But here are some numbers here. And this is courtesy of NFL.com. Telvin Smith and Miles Jack will be the primary pass defenders on the second level for Jacksonville. They both ranked in the top 12 in yards allowed in pass coverage among linebackers in the NFL. Telvin Smith was beaten last week. Get this, fuck, Telvin Smith last week. The Pittsburgh Steelers targeted Telvin Smith last week 13 times, okay? Ben Roethlisberger threw to whoever Telvin Smith was covering. He's a linebacker, right? So we're not trying to rip the guy. He's a linebacker. He shouldn't be in pass coverage. But I'm just saying that this is how teams are exposing and attacking them. Out of 13 targets, Steelers caught 12 catches. Now, we saw Vance McDonald last week make a couple of big plays on them. Jacksonville's not going to have an answer for Gronkowski. Like, unless they're going to fucking really surprise everyone and have some sort of scheme that they've never done before. I personally think the problem is, though, if you double team Gronkowski, fucking Brady's going to fucking eat you alive, man. Like, he'll be fine. All right, there's two of you there. Brady's smart enough to do the math. You know what I mean? You know, that quick. So he'll see, okay, they're going to double team Gronk on this play. I'll throw it to Amendola. He'll be open. Like, so that's the thing. You pick your poison with the Patriots. And last night I heard Babano say it. I heard Paul Bovey say it today. Hey, and I love these guys. Babano, Bovey, buddies of mine, respect them. But, you know, and all these guys, everyone's saying this all week, that the Patriots don't have wide receivers. All right, I know. So Tom Brady's just throwing the air, I guess, right? They don't have wide receivers. Danny Amendola had like 13 fucking catches last week. You know, don't tell me that Brandon Cooks isn't a good wide receiver. Fuck, it's fucking Tom Brady's fault. Anyone who watches the Patriots knows Brandon Cooks is fucking open almost every fucking play. All right? Brandon Cooks isn't really a fucking deep bomb wide receiver anyways, but the Patriots have turned him into one. And at least twice a fucking game, man, Brandon Cooks is fucking open and Brady throws that bomb to him and it's short, it's fucking wide, it's left, it's right, it's out of bounds. He never gives Cook an opportunity to make a fucking play. Tom Brady isn't a good deep ball thrower, and they keep having Cooks. Cooks isn't the guy that goes over the slot for them. So Cooks sort of gets taken out of the play. You know, Cooks ends up with 2-3 catches in a game, but you can't tell me that Cooks isn't a fucking top-tier wide receiver. And another thing is, too, so the key to the Patriots, we always talk about this, is how they attack your weakness. And, you know, last week, the Tennessee Titans allowed more yards to any team in the NFL to running backs catching passes. So what did the Patriots do last week? They threw 17 fucking times to the running back. 17 times. Like, if I know this and the statisticians at NFL.com know this, the smartest coach in the history of football, Bill Belichick, knows this. Like, Belichick knows, like, every player's weakness, man. He's going to know Telvin Smith can't defend a pass. He's going to have fucking Dion Lewis on Telvin Smith. They're going to isolate. They're going to go, all right, where's Telvin Smith? And where's he going to be in coverage? And they're going to fucking pick him the fuck apart, man. They're going to pick him apart. So that's the thing with the Jags. They can bark and they can fucking, oh, we're going to do this and that. It's like, yeah, whatever, man. You know, it's not a fucking street fight. You know, this is a tactical fucking matchup, and Doug Marrone ain't going to out fucking think Bill Belichick. And Tom Coughlin's not coaching this game. Although we should note that Tom Coughlin is 5-2 against Bill Belichick. If you want to hang your hat on that, and I understand, and there's no doubt that Tom Coughlin's going to be part of the coaching staff this week. So, like, that, he is part of the coaching staff. So, It does and it doesn't have an impact, you know? It's funny, you think of just the 2 Super Bowls. You think of just the 2 Super Bowls, but the fact is Tom Coughlin is 5-2 against Bill Belichick. So clearly, you know, Tom Coughlin is going to sit down with Doug Marrone and say, all right, this is what we did, and this is how, you know, this is how you beat fucking Brady and the Patriots. And they're going to look at the Giants tape, and they're going to say, all right, he doesn't like this. We know this. Tom Coughlin has a game plan for Brady, at least. We know that. We do know that. Jacksonville's not winning this game. They're not covering. Dion Lewis is going to light them up. Tom Brady's going to get him. And to me, the difference will be, the difference maker will be the Patriots defense. We talked about it last night. The New England Patriot defense over the last 11 games of the year only gave up 14 points per game. I have an interesting matchup situation here too, and this is something that we'll play with the props. No, the props aren't out yet. Oh, some of them are. They got the long field goal prop out, 46.5 as expected in both games. Really, they have the props out. They weren't out earlier in the day. Let's see. Wow. The props are out, boys. The props are out. Stephon Diggs, 5.5 catches. Rob Gronkowski, 5.5 catches. Danny Amendola, 3.5. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, we like that. Danny Amendola over 3.5. Sign me up. Brandon Cooks is 4.5, but Cooks, like I said, they strike Cooks a couple of times deep only. Gronk over 5.5. Come on, please. Here's interesting. So they're going to have Darby on Adam Thielen, the Philadelphia Eagles. Ronald Darby is going to try to cover Adam Thielen, and Jalen Mills will be on Stephon Diggs, which I think is going to be a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, last week, the Falcon wide receivers were wide open, all the time. Matt Ryan was just fucking shit. As long as Case Keenum doesn't melt down, which I don't expect him to, I think the Vikings will be able to do a little more on offense than the Eagles will be able to do. And I think the reason's going to be Jalen Mills, one of them. You know, Jalen Mills gave up an NFL high 9 touchdowns as a cornerback. No cornerback in the NFL gave up more touchdowns. Listen to this one. Quarterback's QB rating when targeting Jalen Mills of the Philadelphia Eagles, 90. Their quarterback rating is 90, which is fucking high. Which is motherfucking high. So Stephon Diggs is 5.5. You know, in a football game, it's going to be pretty low scoring. I get it. You got to be careful. Like they're setting the same fucking numbers as they did last week against the Saints in the track meet, which just shows last week these props were free money. You know, but just because it's going to be a low-scoring game doesn't mean that they're not going to complete passes along the way. I think, you know, listen, what's Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown? They're going to target Diggs in the red zone as well. Diggs is their touchdown guy. Touchdown scorers. It probably won't pay that much. Oh, they only have touch. Oh, no, wait, do they? Oh, there we go. Actually, that's not bad. It's higher than I thought. Look, Julio Jones last week was minus 110 to score a touchdown. So as I mentioned, Jalen Mills has given up a league-high 9 touchdowns to wide receivers as a defensive back in the NFL. He's going to be covering Stephon Diggs. Diggs' touchdown is plus 175. I'm going to play that prop. Will Stephon Diggs score a touchdown? Yes, plus 175. Like I said, to me, it's worth it. I'm not going to go huge on it, but it's worth it. Stephon Diggs is a massive playmaker. The guy's a fucking stud. The media blows Thielen because Thielen went to Minnesota State. Thielen's a good story, man. The guy's undrafted and shit. And the guy's a fucking wicked player. So I can't say, the media, but, Adam Thielen's a local guy. There's not a lot of white stars. And, he's that typical white grinder. Oh, he worked his way up and, Minnesota, Mankato State and all that shit. But Adam Thielen's good, but Stephon Diggs is kind of the dude that Thielen's going to make a lot of catches, but Diggs, as we saw last week, is the guy that'll save their ass and put it in the end zone. And like I brought up a few times here, Jalen Mills has a hard time, man. And Stephon Diggs is going to get him, I think. Plus 175, Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown. Those props are at Bet365, Chris Edge. Listen, most of the books will all have the similar props. But, normally they're not out this early. Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown. I like it. Stephon Diggs to score the first touchdown of the game is 10-1. To score the last touchdown of the game is 10-1. Stephon Diggs to score the last touchdown at 10-1 is worth a look. He scored the last touchdown last week, so it's kind of generic to do it again. But in a game that they're not, this is a good. I'm going to bet this prop. We'll attack this tomorrow night on the show, guys. But I'm going to bet this prop. Last touchdown scored of this game. Listen, in a game in which there's like 7 touchdowns and like last week, it's a fucking track meet. They're going back and forth. It's kind of Russian roulette, right? And it always is who's going to score the last touchdown. But hear me out on this. Would it surprise you guys in this football game with the Eagles and the Vikings if there was 1 touchdown? How many touchdowns are there going to be in this game? The total is 38 and a half. How many touchdowns are there going to be in this game? 2, 3? You know what I mean? Like, it could be a field goal fest. It wouldn't shock me if this game was 15-10. And the Minnesota Vikings kicked 5 fucking field goals, They might not score a touchdown. Like, it could be one of those deals that, there's only going to be a touchdown or 2 in this game. So, by nature, playing at fat odds, who's going to score the last touchdown of the game, if you hit the player, like every one of these players pays 10-1, guys. Every one of them. Kyle Rudolph could score a touchdown fucking late in the game, and you know what I mean? Let's say Kyle Rudolph scores a touchdown in the third quarter, and then there's just a bunch of field goals for the rest of the game. You win the bet. I like this. I don't even have to worry about who wins the fucking game. Last touchdown of the game props. Latavius Murray 6-1. Adam Thielen 7-1. Jay Ajayi 10-1. Kyle Rudolph 10-1. I'm leaning Rudolph and Diggs right now, both in the 10-1 territory. Alshon Jeffrey 10-1. McKinnon 12-1. Aguilar 12-1. LeGarrette Blount 16-1. LeGarrette Blount could be worth a look. Late in the football game, punching one in, from the 2 or something. And then you get into the big shots. Jarius Wright 20-1. Torrey Smith. Corey Clement 25-1. And the numbers are the exact same for first score. Who's going to get the first touchdown of the New England Patriot game? Let's say Rob Gronkowski. Not bad, 5-1. 5 to 1 for Rob Gronkowski. Interesting. A lot of interesting props to look up here and research. What don't you like, Mex? Plus 175 are great odds for Stephon Diggs. Rob Gronkowski to score a touchdown. Rob Gronkowski to score a touchdown anytime in a game is minus 150. That's not a good bet. Like, that's not worth it. I agree with the over field goal prop. Both long field goals over should come in. I'll be playing them both. The real money isn't will a player score a touchdown. The real money is will the player score the first or last touchdown. You know what a good prop for this Vikings and Vikings game could be, but I don't see it here. Oh, here it is. Perfect. No, it is. That's the team one. I need, like, will there be more points in the first or second half? I think there'll be more points in the second half of the Eagles and the Vikings game. First half under the Eagles-Vikings game is 18.5. Pretty low, but it is pretty low, but I think it's going to be a real low-scoring start to this Eagles game. Real smash mouth, couple of field goals, maybe 10-6 at the half, and that gets you under the number. I know it sounds scary, 18.5, and you guys know I'm generally an over better. You guys, you never bet fucking unders, Morency? I like the under in the Viking-Eagle game. Pats over the Vikings, plus 180, Super Bowl prop. That's kind of gimmicky, I think. I don't know. No streaker is going to appear. All right, give us a second. We'll take a last quick break of the evening. We'll come back and wrap things up. I'm going to put my fantasy hat on. NFL DFS time. Another stack show on the Fantasy Sports Network tomorrow. Donnie Rightside going to join us. We'll talk about the Eagles. Steve Merrill. And Cody Saftik talking UFC. We got all the bases covered again tomorrow. So as I stated, I like that Australian favorite parlay tonight. We got in on JNE Siliwangi. JNE Siliwangi, Indonesian basketball, 11 to 1 money line, little sprinkle. Hopefully Lara Gutt can fucking finish on the podium. Match fixers picks. All right, we're a little long here this evening. Friday Night Freak Show tomorrow night. We'll break down the NFL for the final time. We'll be on Saturday night on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/sportsrage if you want to be part of the private premium party. And we're going to be with you Sunday night here on SBR. We're going to be with you Sunday night SBR for the Vikings and the Eagles game. Should be interesting. Me and Babano throwing it down Sunday night betcast. And, of course, we're going to be in Costa Rica for the Super Bowl. Sounds like we're going to have a Super Bowl beach bash, which I'm looking forward to. Shaking it up. Last year, where was I? I was here last year. I was sitting exactly where I'm sitting right now watching the Super Bowl. And normally I'm in Vegas. Like, if we go through the list of Super Bowls over the last, 10, 15 Super Bowls, I've been in Vegas for most of them. A lot of them. But I didn't have any plans to go to Vegas for the Super Bowl this year. But I was, this was sort of in the works for a while. It's too bad we couldn't announce it officially earlier. I think SBR is going to do an official announcement tomorrow. They're putting together a promo video and stuff. Their sponsors and all that type of, all that other cool shit. So give us a thumbs up if you can on the way out. Support SportsBook.com. They're the ones that give you this show for free, guys. Go over to their website, bet at one of their sports books, sign up, get the free bonus, all right? On the way out here, we told you we got in on the match fixer alerts. Hey, he gave us 2 picks the other day. One of them won. They were both big dogs. So we'll continue to ride the match fixer alert train. He says take J&E Silangawangi Badong. I'm not joking. J&E Silangawangi Badung. Whatever, the Indonesian League, J&E Silawangi, plus 1,100 on the money line. Lara Gut to finish on the podiums, up to plus 500 right now. And as I stated, Australian basketball, money line parlay, the Adelaide 36ers and the Perth Wildcats, minus 165. There's a late night winner for you. Other night, you're on your own. May the winners be yours later.